Okay, okay. Oh, I'm hearing an echo. I'm hearing echo. Okay. Ah, I yeah, I'm such a noob at this crap again. But anyway, yes, I am here. I know it's taken me long enough. Oh, camera's right here. I had to figure out a whole new software system. And actually, hopefully, the system is way better. I still haven't been able to figure out what was going on with my DSLR or whatever, my old camera. But now that I have a better system set up, excuse me, I'm hoping that the streaming will still be good. Yeah, so a lot has been going on, and there's just so much stuff that I've wanted to talk about. But I'm just like, am I ready to make a stream? Like, whatever. We're just gonna do it. We're gonna just do it and keep doing it and see what happens. So, I've been trying, I've been pretty busy this past month, which has been great. Um, okay, you gotta bear with me because, like I said, I'm using a whole different software now. Oh, Little Mermaid. Yes, we'll get into that in a second. Um, but yes, your girl has been out here trying to work. I've revamped my website if you're interested. I've simplified things. I have been working on what I, moved down here for originally, which was to do real estate, like tourism, hospitality, restaurants. That's what I really want to get into in terms of my private client work and stuff like that. Of course, I'm still doing films and stuff, but we have to pay the bills. So these are some photos I did at Airbnb. This is a mansion in Jupiter. More Airbnb shots. And these are for the website Airbnb. This was for a realtor I know selling a condo. Another Airbnb in Kendall. So I'm trying, y'all. I'm out here. I'm trying to make it happen. Poseidon Films, okay? Poseidon Films, photography, videography, South Florida. All right. Oh, why does it say I'm peaking? Am I too loud? Let me turn my thing down. All right. So, yes, like I said, a lot of things have been going on. Recently, I finally went to see The Little Mermaid. I went and saw it with my cousin, who is actually it's so strange to say a new cousin, but she's not my new cousin. She's always been my cousin, but we only met since I moved to Florida, and we've been building a nice friendship. And so, her and I went to see The Little Mermaid. Um, I definitely do want to go and see it again. Like, I don't know. After seeing that movie, I was kind of like, I think that I'm done with movie theaters. Um, I just haven't been. I have just not been a crowds person. Um, I feel like the pandemic really kicked my ass with that. Sorry, I'm just checking my stream. Yeah, I just not have been a crowds person. The pandemic definitely. Um, let me just move this up here. There you go. Okay, the pandemic definitely just messed things up for me in that regard. Just don't like being in crowds. But before that, I had issues with movie theaters because you guys know I'm in film. I'm a huge film person, and I feel like movie theaters, like, what is it about movie theaters that attracts the most dickish, inconsiderate, foolish people throughout our entire society? For some reason, they just all gather at the movie theater, and they like to make things horrible and worse for everybody. Um, you're trying to forget about seeing a horror movie. I don't see any horror movies, any thrillers, anything like that. Like, I'll go see an adventure movie, like one of the Marvel movies or whatever. I I kind of past the phase of going and seeing those in theaters after phase 3. But I'll see an adventure movie. I saw Avatar, the new Avatar. I did fall asleep, but if I go, it has to be at some awkward time, like in the middle of the day, in the morning, on a Tuesday, at a theater in like some more remote town, not like a big city or whatever. Because like I said, just like the most dickish people just come to the movie theater to be disruptive. The people with the loud kids, the people that can't keep every thought, that have no like filter, that they just have to say every thought that comes into their head. The teenagers, the disruptive, horribly behaved teenagers. You're watching a movie and they're like, "Oh my god, the floor creaking! You hear the floor creaking? Oh, they going in the fridge. What they going in the fridge for? What they getting? Oh, they drinking a beer. Oh, why are you drinking a beer?" Bro, I can't deal with that. So I said that, I was like, okay, I'm done with movie theaters, but this year, um, a friend of mine who's also a filmmaker and film lover, he got me into going back to the theater again because we saw Avatar and we saw I don't remember the name of that M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Visitors or something like that. We saw that, and although that movie wasn't like particularly remarkable, it definitely reminded me that it is important to see certain movies in the theater. It's just, you just don't get the same effect. So I think I will be going to the theater more often, but like I said, it will be at these awkward times. And AMC actually offers a really good um, benefit, like or something. You pay like $25. Is it $25 a month? It might be $25 a month or something like that. It was some really, really good deal that you just pay this one flat fee and like you could pretty much go see as many movies as you want. Um, so I'm gonna participate in that. Anyway, we went to see the movie on a Tuesday night, which was good because you're paying, like, movies are like $5 on Tuesdays, but then also that means there's a lot more people attracted to the theater on these days. So anyway, we saw the movie. It wasn't completely packed. It hasn't even come out that long ago, but it wasn't completely packed. And interestingly enough, I mean, I guess it's kind of because it's kind of a white area or whatever, but I don't know. I just feel like don't let the internet discourse fool you, because there was plenty of white people in the movie theater. Like, oh my god, like, just like, oh, this is so amazing. Like, oh my god, this is so cute. But there was also people behind us, whatever. So anyway, saw the movie. Admittedly, I will admit, when the information first came out that it was gonna be Halle, she was gonna be playing Ariel, I was definitely like, what the because, and everyone was pretty outraged that day. It was a lot of, it was a break the internet watershed moment. I was just like, why? It definitely felt like it was obvious that what that Disney was trying. It seemed at the time like Disney was trying to do a thing, right? They were trying to go viral. They were trying to make a big stink, whatever, make people freak out. Um, and I was just like, oh, this is so stupid, because I don't like when they just kind of. It can seem sometimes like they just give minorities the scraps. Like they'll just, oh, let's just redo the story and we'll put a minority in it, and they should be happy with that. Um, I was kind of like, there's so many stories, African stories, Caribbean stories about mermaids, black mermaids. Why can't we have our own stuff? But we know now I know, and this is a message I always preach, is that we cannot allow them to tell our stories. We have to tell our own stories. So whatever, they made her do it. But then once I heard the director talk about how when he called Halle in for the audition, and she she sang, and he was like, oh well, that's it, like that's it, she's definitely the one. Let me see if I can find um okay, there is a short. Ooh.
Very first, she walked through the door. She said, "Would you like me to sing or read first?" We said, "Whatever you'd like to do." She said, "Well, I like to sing first, of course, you know, so it's more comfortable." She shut her eyes, started to sing "Part of Your World." I remember it so well. And by the end of the song, I was in tears. I couldn't believe how connected she was emotionally to the song, to the lyrics, to what she was feeling. And I remember turning to John saying, "Have we found Ariel? Is this it?" I mean, and then, of course, we saw everyone else. We saw hundreds of women for the role, but the bar was set so high. But the screen test, it was so clear. I mean, we always pray that we don't ever have to make a choice, ever, in terms of casting. It's chosen for us, and she honestly claimed the role for hers. Yeah.
I mean, what more you can say? What more can you say? Like, directors, they know, you know? And actually, this director in particular, he, let's see. Okay, yeah, cool. So this director, Rob Marshall, I just did a brief look up on him. He directed Chicago. Okay, so he has musical experience. He directed and choreographed it. And he directed Memoirs of a Geisha. Like, that movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's beautifully shot. It's like, I feel like this director definitely has experience in like other worlds, like world building. Like Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, takes place during the 1940s, and it's like burlesque 1940s, right? The 95 stage musical. Yeah. Chicago during the jazz age. Okay, so the 20s, whatever. But Memoirs of a Geisha, he did Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides, which I think, is this the third movie? This is the production. Derp, derp, derp. I don't know. Wait, Pirates of the Caribbean. No, this might be, yeah, this might be the third one. This might be the third one. Which the first three were good. Okay, after that, it went a little downhill. Okay, it went a little left. But, you know, that third one was good. He did Mary Poppins, and then so he produced and directed The Little Mermaid. So I just have some stills up here, but I do want to talk about the movie. So, like I said, once the director had said why he chose the movie, I was like, okay, let's see. I'm not gonna lie though, my hopes were in the garbage can, because seeing seeing Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, the remakes, they were basura. They were not good, in my opinion. Sorry if this music is too loud. I need to figure out a way to quick key for it. But anyway, I didn't really like any of those movies. The Lion King was just like, it looked like real life, and trying to watch real life animals sing and dance just didn't make sense. If they would have made The Lion King into, like, say, a Pixar 3D version, then I feel like that could have been cool, and I would have been interested in that. But I don't know. Or if they maybe did like a hyper realist, but it still looked like a cartoon rather than looking like actual lions, and it just didn't make any sense. So, and Scar didn't look like Scar. You know, it just wasn't it. Beauty and the Beast, terrible, terrible. Miss Emma Watson cannot sing. I'm sorry. I am not a fan of her acting. I'm not gonna go in, but I'm actually quite the opposite of a fan of her acting. um, but it just, I mean, she had the look, but it was just like nothing else was there. Like nothing else, and like, you know, there are a lot of actors and actresses that are triple threats. You know, sing, act, dance. She was not one of those people, so it was unfortunate. Everyone knows Aladdin. Aladdin looked horrible. The genie looked horrible. This is another thing. This is another criticism. Oh God, I hate starting it off with criticism, but like something. This is a trend I'm starting to notice with the movie industry right now, and I think it has a lot to do with the whole the whole content thing, the consumption of content, and the pressure that these movies, a pressure that these companies like that are doing the streaming services like Netflix, HBO Max, which is now Max, Disney, the pressure that they're putting on themselves to put out content like boom, 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 boom. I feel like they're making movies so much faster than they used to, and therefore movies are suffering in quality. Aladdin, I felt suffered in quality. It's very obvious that they didn't have or take the time to really do the effects. Which for that, I guess they're just like, whatever. It doesn't matter if we take the time because this is just going on Disney Plus or whatever. I don't agree with that. I feel kind of similar things about The Little Mermaid. That's, don't get me wrong. Let me just start by saying I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. I think it was the best remake out of all the Disney remakes so far. The Jungle Book was also a good one, but it was the best. I think the Jungle Book. Because I'm so confused because I think two separate movie studios remade the Jungle Book around the same time. And I think one of them was better than the other one. I think. I'm not all the way sure. But if the Disney one was good, then that's the only other Disney remake that was good. So I was totally blown away. Halle was amazing. Her voice was amazing. She just gives off Disney princess energy. She was great. Let me see. Let's go to this. She was great. Let's see some other pictures of her. Yes, this is when she turned human. We'll go back and talk to that. Now, I feel like, again, like I said, I do feel like the movie was good. Like, but I also feel like a lot of these movies, they're rushing. Like, they are so trying to put stuff out so fast that it's possible that the movies are missing, like, third, fourth, like 3 or 4 more rounds of editing and writing. So, you know, when they write movies, it's not just like one person writes the movie. It's like a person writes the movie, they have a writer's room, they have ideas, they pass it back and forth. Like, it's a bunch of different writers working on one single thing. And I feel like as a writer in writing that it's important to take a step back and like wait a couple weeks, a month or two to have new fresh eyes when you reread your work. I just actually wrote my treatment for my first feature film that I would like to make. I just finished the treatment. I stayed up sometimes until 7 or 8 in the morning trying to finish this thing over a span of about 2 weeks. I finished it less than a week ago. It's a big feat. I mean, whew, applause for me. I got to get a sound effects track, but I finished the treatment. So right now I'm working on other stuff, but like I need to give it like a break. I wanted to jump right into the script, but it needs a break to like breathe, so that when I start writing it again, you know. And so when these companies are trying to push out a new film damn near every month, they're gonna sacrifice on quality. Not to mention the writer's strike going on, but the movie was already finished before the writer's strike. So if there's movies coming out now too, you're gonna see there's gonna be a huge quality dive because of the lack of writers on set, doing the things. So the movie was good. As you can see from this picture, one thing I really liked is that I do like that they didn't overdo it with the special effects. Like, it didn't look silly, it didn't look goofy looking. Like, with Avatar, obviously the entire thing is 3D. So, I mean, the entire thing is digital. Oh my god, why is this escaping me? Digital art. No. Computer generated. Computer generated. The whole thing is computer generated. This is partially computer generated. So it looked like it didn't, I had explained, I said to my cousin that it kind of reminded me of a play, but I don't know. I feel like that's the only way I could describe it. Maybe like authentic effects, like how they used to do in the old days, like the 50s, 60s, 70s, or whatever. Like, as you can see underwater, I mean, she looked like Ariel. She didn't have scales, but she just had like makeup. You can't really see it. You can see it in certain other clips, but well, actually, I can see it here, but I don't know if you guys can see it. But she had scales, but they were just like makeup. Like, maybe you might be able to see a little bit of the shimmer here on her shoulder. But yeah, the energy was there. It fit everything. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I cried twice. They got two separate incidents of tears out of me. One, this sounds so stupid, but when Eric's boat catches fire and it blows up or whatever, and the dog is in the water, and they're trying to get the dog to come, and she swims up under and pushes the dog closer to the boat. Oh, I don't know why that got me, man. Like, listen, I love my dogs and all, but I'm not like a super crazy psycho dog person. I'm like a super crazy psycho dog person for my dogs. But I'm not like, when I see a dog, I'm just like, I'm just dying. There are people that are like that. And, that's not a judgment or anything. But I don't know why. It just seems so, I think it just seems so pure. It just seems so pure and sweet that she would push the dog, like push him forward to get on the boat. And then, of course, in the end, when all, that ending scene in Little Mermaid, you see it in the cartoon, but you don't even imagine how it is with real people. Like, all the people supporting her, all the people from the ocean. See? Whew. Yes. And her dad was saying, we're here for you. We will always support you. If you need us, call us. We're here. And yeah, that was just a beautiful moment. I don't know if they have pictures of that. I don't know how much. So overall, I think the movie was great. Like, I was really blown away. I'm gonna go see it again next week sometime, probably. Not sure when. But yeah, it was really great. I was blown away. I was blown away with what they did. But I do feel like they could have taken maybe a little more time with it. A little more time, maybe 6 more months working on it. Doing what? I don't really know, man. There were some parts with Ursula that, I don't know, maybe just didn't sit right with me. Let me see. These are just all promotional. Okay, so maybe there isn't a whole lot of stuff here. But anyway, like Ursula, let's like this graphics looks very amateur. I don't know. I feel like if they could have taken a little bit more time. They could have taken a little bit more time. Like, also, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like, I get that they didn't. I get that they didn't make it look too computer generated, which I liked. I don't know how else to describe it other than that it felt like a play. Like, I remember there was a scene where the Ursula scene where she's upside down and she's being pulled, like she's being pulled and her arms are kind of, and like I guess obviously when it's a cartoon, you're kind of like you have a lot more floppiness to you, that it's kind of like whatever, that it didn't really look, it looked too static. Like I don't know how to explain what I'm saying, but I feel like what I'm seeing could have been solved with a little more time working on it. Now for Jenny, oh sorry, I always mess up her name. Melissa McCarthy as Ursula. I felt like she was great. I felt like she had the look, but there was something missing. And I went back and I watched the Poor Unfortunate Souls with the original Pearl. Hold on. The original I'm sorry, looking at her is so funny. We will get into that eventually. Um let's see. Hold up. Um okay. We have to mute this obviously because of copyright. Like, let's skip ahead. Like, okay, as you can see, she has a little bit of like vavoom. Like that's what I was describing. What's kind of missing is like the ooh the ooh like so cringe me doing this, but it's like something is missing with the vavoom. Like Ursula had, she had a sexuality to her. She had a little, she was based off of a drag queen in the 80s. I forget what the drag queen's name. I'm actually have an article about should she have been a drag queen, um that we'll go over, but like she's missing that, like you see her doing this and like there was a part like, yes, you see she's like, she's got the tentacles and like she's got it right. So Melissa McCarthy has a look, but she, I feel, was missing that thing. I'm hoping that this doesn't get, but anyway. Oh, and there's also a part two that they removed. Um okay, Ursula's saying that you need your, so they removed this part when she says that, when she tells Ariel, Ariel's like, how am I going to be able to, how am I going to make him fall in love with me without my voice? And Ursula sings this song that, I mean, I don't really have a problem with them updating things to like go along with contemporary culture and ideals. I don't have a problem with that. You know? I'm trying to think. Like, I don't have a problem with them doing that. But I feel like there was some interesting and a little bit feminist commentary in this song that they removed. And I know that they knew what was going on in the original. Like, okay, so, right. So Ariel asks her, oh, maybe I should bring this up on here. Okay. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, though. Can you see that? Okay. So they removed this part. Okay, my voice that you got it, sweet cakes. No more talking, singing, zip. She's like, but without my voice, how can I? And then Ursula starts singing again. You'll have your looks, your pretty face, and don't forget the importance of body language. Like she does it here, right here. You see, she's got that boom, ba ba boom, bum, bum, ba ba bum, 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 ba ba bum. Like she's got that thing, and I felt like that was missing from the character. Now she says, the men up there don't like a lot of blabber. They think a girl who gossips is a bore. Yes, on land it's much preferred for ladies not to say a word. After all, dear, what is idle prattle for? So basically saying men don't like it when women talk a lot. They like it when you're quiet, you know? And like that sounds like a criticism, right? Like that's a criticism of how women are viewed. And this movie came out in 1989, so they have a lot of like I think a lot of people like to think that in those days that people were so sexist and da da da. You'd be surprised that there's actually a lot of forward feminist, you know, writing in a lot of these shows and movies, but you have to know it. Like Three's Company at the time, for example, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but this shit is like this is my shit right here, okay? This is my shit. So, like for example, Three's Company, you know, it was crazy to think that men and women could be roommates together. So that's why they had to make Jack. They said he was gay, so that for Jack, Janet, and Chrissy to live together, they had to say that Jack was gay. So Jack would have to pretend he was gay, whatever. And that show started, I believe, it premiered in 1977, but it was developed probably in like 1975, 1976 or whatnot. And so in that show, they have a lot of arguments where Jack would, for example, be happy to benefit from certain modern, at the time, feminist ideals, but then in other realms he'd be like, no, I'm the man, da da da. But like the very nature of the show was to break down these kind of like stereotypes and traditional gender roles and stuff like that, because yeah, Janet worked at a flower shop, but Jack was a chef. And there were tons of times during the series when people questioned Jack's sexuality or whatever because he was a chef or because he did a woman's job or whatnot. And they would have whole episodes dedicated to actual harassment. You know, Chrissy getting harassed by her boss at work, Janet not being promoted, a man coming into the, you know, they talked about these things even then. So as we go on, I feel like people sometimes don't see the forest for the trees, don't see the trees for, you know what I'm trying to say. They don't see the bigger picture. So they just think like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have Ursula say this because it sounds like she's telling Ariel to keep quiet, which essentially is what she's doing. But it's a commentary for people who know. Like I can't think of like myself watching The Little Mermaid. Like I don't ever remember watching Little Mermaid and thinking, oh, this means that I should keep quiet and, you know, be demure and all these kind of things. Like that's not what I got from it personally. And so I feel like this Ursula's song, the other half of the song, is a good commentary on like, this is how they view a good woman, a perfect woman, is that she's quiet, that she doesn't speak up for herself. That's like, what? You don't even have to speak. All you do just sit there and look pretty, and trust me, he'll fall in love with you. When, you know, I mean, it was the case, but Eric desperately, you know, tried to communicate with her, and they found their own way to communicate. So continuing on, I know it was a long rant, but like I said, this is my shit. Like I love analyzing, talking about this stuff, film history, all the stuff. So after she says that, she goes on, come on, they're not all that impressed with conversation. True gentlemen avoid it when they can, but they dote and swoon and fawn on a lady who's withdrawn It's she who holds her tongue who gets a man. Wow. Like, how is that? That is like this. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This goes back to the writing. This goes back to the writing, right? If I'm not mistaken, this is Alan Menken, right? Oh, Pat Carroll. Oh, Howard. Yeah, Howard Ashman and Alan Menken. They made all the Disney songs. This is like the iconic songs that we're singing 3 decades later, that Halle's cast and we're like, oh, we can't wait to hear how she sings Part of Your World or whatnot, right? I feel like that lack of writing, the lack of spending time, it's like, imagine your favorite artist, and there's an artist I won't name that does this, but imagine your favorite artist is putting out a new album every year. It's kind of like that. If they're not taking the time to listen to thousands of records, if they're not even having the experience to write, if they're not having the mental state and they're just doing it, you're not getting the best thing. Like, these guys were probably working on this song and these lyrics for so long, and like, that's why I feel like some of the songs that they added, I was okay with them adding the songs, but some of the songs were like, it's not hitting, like, it's not giving. We're singing this 35 years from now. Like, that's not, you know, like the rap that they had, that Scuttle, which is like, okay, I could have been okay with a rap, it could have been fine, but it's like, what, you know, you didn't put in the time for that. So yeah, anyway, I thought it was a shame that they removed this, because anyone who's thinking knows what is going on here, knows what Ursula's trying to do. The men up there don't like a lot of blabber. They think a girl who gossips is a bore. Yes, on land it's much preferred for ladies not to say a word. After all, dear, what is idle prattle for? Come on, they're not all that impressed with conversation. True gentlemen avoid it when they can, but they don't ensue and fawn on a lady's withdrawn. It's she who holds her tongue who gets a man. Come on, you poor unfortunate soul. Go ahead, make your choices. When she's really starting to like, I'm a very busy woman and I haven't got all day. It won't cost much, just your voice. You poor unfortunate soul, it's sad but it's true. If you want to cross a bridge, my sweet, you've got to pay the toll. Take a gulp and take a breath and go ahead and sign the scroll. Flotsam, jetsam, now I've got her, boys. The boss is on a roll. This poor unfortunate soul. So, yeah. Like I was saying, I feel like there was a moment there that was missed. And, yeah, she doesn't have that, like, that thing. So that was my commentary for her. I feel, oh, what did I close? Okay, so yeah, Eric, I thought Eric was good. Like, he was fine. He was attractive. I mean, he ain't giving Prince Eric. he ain't giving. He ain't giving. He ain't giving. Oh wait, you can't see. He's not giving Bay over here. Wait, you can't see it? Oh wait, can I? I can't scroll this. No. How do I scroll? Okay, well, whatever. You get the picture. He's not giving. He didn't give this. Okay, he didn't give this. Does this guy even have blue eyes? Oh, he does. But like, this is like my dream. This was my dream. Like, Prince Eric was like. Yeah. As a little girl, yeah, it was given that. You were like, oh my gosh, he's just so beautiful. Yes. So he was good, but he wasn't given that. But I do feel like him and Halle had some good chemistry. They had good chemistry. Even though we know in real life Halle liked them rude boys, unfortunately. Well, we all have to learn in our own time, right? But yeah, I mean, he shaved his head here. It's not. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, we all know who the real life Prince Eric is. We know who he is. If you're try and guess who I'm gonna show in this moment, I don't know. I can't even like. Let me see. Is there a way to, if I zoom out? I don't think that will help. View, zoom in. Okay, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna have to just do it like this. We know who the real Prince Eric is, right? Am I right? Am I right? We know who the real life Prince Eric is, right? We know this is Eric. He's too old though, but whatever. He's too old. He's still let me see, how old is Henry Cavill? Yeah, he's 40. That would have just been weird. But we know who the real Prince Eric is. This is him. Like, he looks just like him. What the freak? He looks just like him. This is Prince Eric. Let me see. Prince let's see. Henry Cavill young. Oh my god. He looks a little young here, but this is him. This is him. This is the real. Oh no, here we go, right here. This is Prince Eric. This. But okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything is fine. Wait, I think they might have been comparisons. Let me type in Prince Eric. See? You see? You freaking see. People are comparing. People are comparing. It's not just me. This is... Okay. Alright, whatever. Maybe next lifetime. Come on, man. Come on. This is him. Alright, I'm gonna stop. You guys get the point. Yeah. So, yeah. Flashing back to this is like a jump scare. Ah! Okay, I'm sorry. No, that's mean. I'm sorry. He's a good-looking man. He's wearing too much makeup right there, but he's a good-looking man. Let me not hate. He looked like Eric. He looks like Eric, but he's not Henry. Whatever. Anyway, so all right, so what else? All right, yeah, I think also Javier Bardem, a king. He was perfect. You know, Liz Neptune, this is basically my father here, okay? Liz Neptune, okay? Poseidon Films, right? Poseidon and King Neptune are the same person, depending on Roman or Greek mythology. I thought he was great. I have no comments. I thought he was good. I think he played the benevolent father, and he was also like, oh, what have I done? You know, he played both parts very well. I believed all of it. I have no comments. I think he was great. He was just wonderful. Okay. Scuttle. We got Scuttle. Flounder. Flounder was good. He was very cute and childlike, and he definitely reminded me of the cartoon. I guess he really had to be like a fish. You know, I always, like I said, with Lion King, you know, I had a problem with the animatronic, not the animatronic, the hyper realistic animals talking, but it was okay. Like, I like that. What else? Scuttle was played by Aquafina. I thought she was great. She has this ability to sound so stupid when she talks that honestly, I don't know if I could see anyone else playing this, but she's great. Like, she just has this, the thing when she talks. But I don't know. She's good. I think she did good. Oh, wait. Let me see this picture. Yeah, this scene, this was so good. And then I saw, like, there was a part, I saw some, I didn't actually read the article, but let me see if I can find it. But I feel like I saw something about people saying, like, the problem with the Little Mermaid ignoring slavery or some shit like that. Like, bruh, it's a freaking made up story. Can I just escape reality for a second? Can I freaking just, okay? Like, pretend that maybe there's some alternate universe. This is clearly not happening. It's not real. Is there some alternative universe where I can pretend that my ancestors weren't slaves? Can we just pretend for a second? Can we? We can't? We can't? Okay. There's no one really over there, but I'm just trying to really figure it out. Like, what the hell? Let me see if this foolishness. This is like, when I see stuff like this is like you people have no joy in your life, right? This is the kind of shit that they're like, that Republicans also like to, the right likes to put on blast. Like, see these crazy fucking leftists, like, da, da, da. This is fodder for them. This is food for them. When y'all do stupid shit like this. The Little Mermaid slammed by black activists. But also, too, when they make articles like this, it'd be one dumbass person that says something like this, or like one account on Twitter with like 3 followers, no likes, or 1 like, 1 retweet, and the retweet is someone calling them stupid. But they're like, Little Mermaid slammed by black activists for erasing slavery. Dangerous. Ariel, the Little Mermaid, is part of your historically inaccurate world. Is Little Mermaid being criticized by a prominent diversity advocate for its erasure of slavery in the Caribbean? A world in which the very idea of race for the main characters seem to be subverted, consciously ignored, and at the same time black beauty is celebrated, needs to be applauded. While the importance of casting Little Mermaid as a black woman has been commented on in numerous articles, the casting of the other roles is also worth a mention. At the same time, the Little Mermaid's father is white, while her mermaid sisters are of various different races and ethnicities. Race is a social construct as we know it clearly does not exist underwater. It doesn't, and that's fucking fine. That is fucking fine. It's fine. Let me see. Marcus Ryder. Let's see if this person has a lot of views, a lot of followers. They have 13,000 followers. Really? Really? This is news? This is necessary to be on the front page of the New York Post? But anyway, it's just kind of like, when you also too, like I said, when you see stuff like this, you're like, wow, you're fucking miserable. Like, you have no joy in your life. In this setting, I do not think we do our children any, and also too, the writers, the whole system is messed up because the writers are incentivized to write dumb crap like this so that they get clicks and stuff, like I just gave. In this setting, I do not think we do our children any favors by pretending that slavery didn't exist. For me, Disney's preference to try and wish the inconvenient truth away says more about the adult creatives than it does about children's ability to work through it. Okay. Though he acknowledged that the movie is a fantasy and doesn't necessarily need to be historically accurate, he said that Disney shouldn't be encouraging historical amnesia. But the total erasure and rewriting one of the most painful, important parts of African diasporic history is borderline dangerous, especially when it's consumed unquestionably by children. Okay. We don't have to give that any more attention. But, where was I going? Right? Speaking of that, though, I mean, if you want to give a real commentary, how about the fact that Sebastian still was not a Jamaican person? Like, I feel like that's more worthy of commentary. I had of the cast. I had this. I need to figure out who was Sebastian. Who? David Diggs. Okay. I thought this was the guy. Okay. Let's figure out where this guy's from. Diggs was born in Oakland, California, the son of Barbara, a social worker. His mother is Jewish. His father is African American. I don't see anything about Jamaica here. Let me type in Jamaica and see if anything comes up. Oh, no, zero. Oh, sorry. This is the actor who played Sebastian. Okay. The original. You know, how come I need Jamaicans to be more outraged about these things, because I am so tired of seeing Jamaicans in movies and it's like, hey man, why you go over there, man? Yes, man, I in the Caribbean, yes sir. It's like, I don't know. There's plenty of famous Jamaican actors that they could have gotten for this. Why? Why? And it was actually really hard to listen to, worse than the original Sebastian. Um, like, I'm really over it at this point. Like, the whole not getting Caribbean people to do these roles, and then not even just that, but like, what happened to dialogue coaches and like actually studying like how to speak, like how the people speak in those countries? um it was just very like, it really did seem like a caricature and a parody, and like, they probably weren't taking it seriously, like, oh, it was cheesy back then, so let's make it cheesy now. But like I said, there's plenty of Jamaican actors that they could have got to do this, and even like named people with like followings. If they didn't want to do a newcomer, they want to do somebody famous, like they could have found that. Like, let's see. uh okay. uh i'm not i'm not I'm not really David talks taking on role of Sebastian. Okay. In addition to being super psyched about Halle Bailey playing Ariel in the live action remake of The Little Mermaid, we're very excited about David Diggs bringing the role of Sebastian to life. Fans will recall that in the animated film, Sebastian's is Ariel's sidekick, but also King Triton's confident and confidant and advisor. King Triton. Okay, not King Neptune. And being caught in the middle of Peru. Wait, hold up. I've been saying King Neptune. Is King Triton a real mythological character? Wait a second. He is... His wife is Athena. He's a widowed father of 7 daughters. Development. Wait, hold on. Okay, I just googled Triton. Oh shit! This whole time I'm saying, look, see, I fucked up. This whole time I'm thinking he's King Neptune. He's Poseidon. He's actually the son of Poseidon. King Triton is the son of Poseidon. Oh, and his Poseidon and his consort. I don't know what that means. Maybe one of his wives. Amphitrite. Triton is half man, half fish. And had a huge shell that he often blew as a trumpet. He's Neptune's... Yeah, he's Poseidon, Neptune's son. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, you learned something new. Anyway, let's skip ahead. In a recent interview, the sole actor opened up about taking on the lively role. I worked harder on Sebastian probably than I have for any role in my life. It's tricky. I tend to say yes to things when I feel like I can do it, but I'm actually not sure I'm the smart choice or the person naturally who should be doing it. That's true of Sebastian for a lot of ways that are uncomfortable. Speaking on his accent work... Okay, I'm already annoyed. He explained, I'm not of Caribbean descent. Doing that kind of work and trying to immerse myself. I spent a lot of time in Trinidad, and I went to Jamaica to research, and I did a lot of voice work with Chris Walker and with the late Tony Hall to try to get the voice right. But more than the voice, the thing about a dialect is that everybody's voice is actually very different, so consistency is really more important than your accuracy. Your speech pattern is based on culture, and that was the thing I didn't want to let down. Blah, 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 blah. He's prepared to face Sebastian blowback. David Diggs aware that people might take issues with his portrayal of Sebastian the Crab in the upcoming live-action film due to the fact that Sebastian's voice is clearly meant to evoke either a Jamaican or a Trinidadian accent, and Diggs does not have a Caribbean background. I was never gunning to be in these Disney remakes, and if I'm being honest, Sebastian comes with a lot of responsibility. For a lot of folks my age who are from the Caribbean, Sebastian was the first time they'd really seen themselves in American film, and I'm not Caribbean, so... He pauses there, acknowledging that his team will probably scream at him for even talking about this, and then continues, we'll see if people crucify me for it. See, that's the whole problem, right? It's like... And this is the thing that, like, this happens with colorism, too. Like, let's say light-skinned actors taking roles that are, like, based on people who in real life are dark-skinned. For example, like, Zoe Saldana playing Nina Simone. Let me see if we can bring that up. Like, you know, it's like, it is a movie. It is a movie. Hold on. It is a movie, but this is crazy. These pictures are crazy, actually. You can't even see the full thing. But, and then look how they made her up for the movie. Like this is definitely blackface, like 100%. Even though Zoe's mixed or whatever, like, It's not right. It's not right. Where is that article? Yeah, that's the problem. As I was saying, that's the problem. Is that, you know, the actors, even the ones that, I know this guy. I mean, I'm not all the way familiar with his career. I know he did Hamilton or whatever. He's not hurting. You're not hurting for cash. You know what I mean? Where you're like, it's even a little bit more understandable. But that's the problem, is that people will take the role. They don't care. Like, they just don't care. So I think that sucks. And, as someone who definitely plans to make films with Caribbean characters and actors in the future, like, that's super, super important. Like, it just sounds bad. Like, it sounds like a joke. It sounds like we're not taken seriously. Like, from this side, like, I just started watching a show on Hulu. I think it's called Saint X or something like that. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it, but it takes place in Jamaica. A lot of it, I watched it as like a scene study because the movie that I was working on, that I was writing, takes place in the Caribbean. And um, I don't know. Those actors, they might be Jamaican, but they didn't sound like it. Like, they definitely sound like, hey, man, da 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 da. How you going there, man? The Little Mermaid is a 2023 American musical fantasy film directed by Rob Marshall from a screenplay written by David McGee. Like, it just doesn't sound good. It just doesn't sound good. So that was another big criticism, and I'm about to get off of the Little Mermaid for after, but I mean, that was it, really. Those were like the main criticisms. Like I said, overall, I did feel like the movie was really great. It really blew me away. I just feel like maybe if they would have taken a little bit more time, then I feel like it could have been better. I mean, that's it, really. This thing doesn't have a timer. I don't even know how long I've been streaming for. An hour? Oh, it says an hour on there. All right, so moving on. Um, moving on to. Oh, this is at the end. All right. Moving on to the ultimatum. All right, so I really enjoyed. Ow, my ass. Okay, I really enjoyed. Um, hold on, let me make sure I got the right thing. I really enjoyed Netflix's new season of the Ultimatum Queer Love. And I actually hope, for I am not someone who is like super reality TV. Actually, that, see, I always feel uncomfortable saying that I don't watch reality TV because it's not true. But I actually realize what the correct thing for me to say is that I don't watch reality shows unless they are based around relationships somehow. Like, it's really weird. I had to acknowledge that, like, okay, I do watch reality TV, but the only reality TV I watch is like love and romantic experiments. Like, I did watch Survivor a couple seasons, but I didn't stick it out. Like, the reality shows when I was growing up, I used to love The Real World, MTV stuff, True Life, whatever, Surreal Life, Celebrity Surreal Life, those type of shows. But my whole love with this started with Flavor of Love and I Love New York, Real Chance of Love, all those shows. And that's what I really like to watch. I like to watch romantic experiments, The Bachelor, 90 Day Fiance. Even though it is a bit of a lifestyle show, it's about that, the 90 Day Fiance whole world. So I love Love is Blind. I love The Ultimatum, like Temptation Island. These shows are diabolical, okay? These shows are just like, whoever thinks of these ideas is a sick person. Actually, the Ultimatum and Temptation Island have some similarities. Um, Temptation Island is a lot more sick and twisted, if you ask me, because they like, they separate the couples into different villas where they're with all these singles who are just, it's their job just to try and hit on them and come at them or whatever. But then they show, if they hook up with people, they show it to your partner. They review the footage, and it's just torture. Ultimatum is, the torture of knowing your partner's leaving and dating someone else. Sorry, get some water. And it's a sick and twisted. Love Island, I'm a big Love Island person. I'll start talking about Love Island after I watch a couple more episodes, but um yeah, I thought it was good. And as someone who always watched these shows, it was very obvious that there was something missing. There was never, up until only about 2 years ago, did 90 Day Fiance actually have their first gay couple. And it wasn't even a gay couple. It was like two girls that they started dating online, and then they were meeting up. One of them was bisexual, and actually both of them were bisexual, but one of them I would say was more out and comfortable, and she wanted like affection, and the other girl was not out, and she was more of a like reserved person, and she had a lot of anxiety, so she like, you never actually saw their relationship, and they weren't even intended on getting married or anything like that. And then after that, they had their first real gay, queer, LGBTQ couple. Um, what's his name? I forget. It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, one guy was Mexican, one guy was American from Florida. He was older. It was like an older American white guy and a younger Mexican guy. They were both gay. And the Mexican guy actually ended up coming out on the show to his family. I mean, they knew he was gay, but they like ignored it and denied it or whatever. But he, eventually came out, like fully came out, like, no, I'm gay for real, and I'm gonna marry this man. And like they had their wedding, and it was beautiful. And like they were actually, believe it or not, they were actually like one of the most healthy couples that's ever appeared on the show. Because it's usually not like that. But and now this season that just passed, they had a trans man and a straight woman couple, and she had never dated a trans person before. They fell in love. They got married. He moved to Colombia, and then the trans man moved to Colombia, and then who else? I feel like there's somebody. No, they do have another gay couple, don't they? Am I missing something? Oh yes, there is another gay couple, Valentine, and I don't remember his partner's name, but he's a black American guy, and his boyfriend, fiance, is Colombian. Actually, he's in Colombia. I don't know if he's Colombian. He might be Venezuelan or something like that. And actually, I think the Colombian guy is bisexual. Whatever. I'm just like, it was very obvious after a while you're watching the shows. It was very obvious. It's like, come on, like, how is there not like a gay couple on the show at this point? And it's the same thing at Married at First Sight, which is crazy because I don't understand how Married at First Sight is gotten, because I feel like Married at First Sight format is a very easy to get a gay couple on there. Like, you just first of all cast gay men or women, they get married like everybody else, and then they divorce like the rest of the couples. So the only thing though, I know that Married at First Sight, I think they're only allowed to do the show in certain states. I think so. I think because of the rules around marriage, divorce, or whatever, something like that. But it would not be hard to at least have one gay couple on the show. Like, it's not hard. So, but like when certain, but for certain other shows, right, it's a little bit harder. And I noticed that online people had a problem with the fact that this series is called The Ultimatum Queer Love and not called The Ultimatum Season 2. That it's kind of like a spin-off, and they're like the optics of why is it that the LGBT have to have a spin-off and not a part of the show. And I understand that. I get that, but I feel like it's really hard the way the shows are certain shows are formatted to integrate because because they're going to have a much larger pool of people. Like obviously Love is Blind, you know, if a straight woman is on there, she's going to want to talk to straight men. If a straight man on there, he's going to want to talk to straight women, you know? It's hard not to it's going to be hard to mix. And same thing with Love Island, right? Like Love Island is pretty much all straight people, or at the very least bisexual. There have been bisexual women on the show in the past. But like when they, you know, when someone comes in, right? Like the person who comes in kind of needs to be fair game to, like when a woman comes in on Love Island, she kind of needs to be fair game to all the men, right? Or when a man comes in, he needs to be fair game to all the women. But if like there's only one gay man and another one gay man comes in, then it's like only them. They can only date each other pretty much. So they have to create a separate show, which I'm hoping that they do. I hope that they have a queer Love Island where they have everybody's like, where they have like everybody's pansexual or queer or whatever, so that you can see like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just thinking of the mess. The mess. Like when I saw this preview for Netflix, I was like, oh, this is mess. This is gonna be so messy because I watched, of course, the L Word, which is a scripted television show, but they made off of the original L Word, they made a show called The Real L Word, which was like a reality TV version of the L Word, like following several lesbians in Los Angeles. And mess. It was so messy. So I'm just like, I was so happy to see this. I'm like, yo, this is gonna be so much drama, women drama, emotions. I was really looking forward to it, and I was not surprised. It definitely did deliver. Okay, we have a comment. I've been streaming for so long, and you know, I haven't had a comment yet. Oh, Hops27 says, great point, Liz. I just saw your live. Haven't seen your content in a while, so it's nice to catch you live. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice. Thank you for being here. Yeah, honestly, going live tonight it was like a last minute decision because of it was really the debate I watched today. I'm like, oh, I gotta go online and talk about this. And I've been putting it off every day. I'm like, I need to go live. I need to go live. And I just kept putting it off. So I was just like, whatever. People will catch it tomorrow on the playback if they don't see it. I wish I could share your comment onto the screen. But I'm using a new software, so I don't know how to do all those things yet. But anyway, thank you so much. But anyway, so like I said, yeah, it's really difficult for certain shows, especially dating shows, to what was the word I was using? To like mix together, you know? They kind of have to be separated. They could do, you know, on the Ultimatum Queer Love season 2, they could have like, again, like I said, all pansexual, all queer people, where the person doesn't care if they're dating a bisexual man or a bisexual woman or a trans woman or a trans man, and it's just kind of like everybody is just cares about their attraction and who they're with, right? So I think it's a good spinoff. I'm glad to see it. I hope that they do more because this one was messy. And actually, I wonder if maybe season 2 they might focus more on like queer men. Um, but yeah. So and Love Island too. I don't think Love Island is able to incorporate queer people unless they are okay with dating straight people. Like But even still, like, even still, I don't think because I've actually, believe it or not, I've actually thought about it quite a lot because I've seen people making the complaints like, whenever I watch these shows, right, I love to go on Reddit and Twitter and just to see what people are talking about, complaints and things people say. And of course, you'll see something like, oh, how come they don't have queer people on this stuff? And I'm just like, it just would not work. Like, the format would not work. They have to create a separate show, which that's, I feel like, more ideal, whatever. And people who are fans of the show are going to follow it, right? People who are fans of the show are going to watch it, right? You know, like The Bachelor too. Like, how come they never had a gay bachelor? The Bachelor's format is more than prepped, ready for it to have a gay bachelor. But the thing is that the audience who watches the Bachelor show specifically, they're very, like I said, they're very like, they're not like the people who are watching The Bachelor are not watching. Are not watching. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm itching. Are not watching the other shows. I don't think. Like, The Bachelor's fan base is very middle America. It's very South. It's very right wing. You know, so I don't know if that's gonna happen because they have to play to their fan base. And like, the thing is that if I'm not absolutely certain, the producers and executive producers of The Bachelor, these people are in Los Angeles. They're all left wing people. They're all, you know, liberals, you know, and I believe they would love to have a gay bachelor, but their aboves, their heads at ABC, whoever, those people, they care about their bottom line and their commercials. And The Bachelor is a huge budget television show. So I believe the only reason why they have not had a gay bachelor or bachelorette yet is because of that. Is because the people who actually do watch their show don't want to see it, which, you know, sucks. But it's easy for the people who, let's say, don't watch the show to say what they should do. But if it's not going to be supportive, it's going to piss off the people who are patronizing them. I think it's messed up, but, you know, they're just doing what their true audience wants. So, all that to say, the Ultimatum Queer Love, we love to see it. I'm happy. It was so crazy. So, the biggest criticism I have with this show was that I feel like it was heavily edited. More so than the last one, more so than Love is Blind. And now, you know, at this point, I feel like we all know about reality TV shows. We know about producers. We know the games they play behind the scenes to manipulate people and all this stuff like that. But I feel like there were so many Franken-cuts. Like, if you don't know what a Franken-bite is, they call it Franken-bites or Franken-cut. It's basically like when editors take something from a totally different context and put it into this context to tell the story that they want to tell. So, like, let's say, for example, I was like, hey, hey, did you say something about Stephanie yesterday? And then the person responds by, no, I didn't even, no, I was at the movie theater. I didn't say anything about Stephanie. And they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, did you watch that TV show? What did you think about that character, Melissa? Oh, Melissa, she's such a bitch. And then basically is they will cut that part of, hey, did you say something about Stephanie yesterday? And paste it with the part where the girl says, yeah, she's such a bitch. When the girl was talking about a completely different topic, that's called a Frankenbite. And I feel like on the show, they did a lot of Frankenbiting. They edited a lot of awkward shit. They moved too much stuff around. There was... I wonder if I could find it. There was one scene in particular. where Yoli and Mal were talking. I don't know if it's gonna be on here. It's probably not. But there was a part on here where Mal and Yoli were arguing about their dating, and like Yoli's lipstick was on, then it was off, then it was on, then it was off, just to show you like how much they. And it's like, y'all, do y'all think that people were not gonna notice? Like, I don't know. Yeah, Hop says it's mostly all manipulation via edits to create the drama to get views. Yeah, that's definitely it. And it's like, it's fine. Like, I get that you guys got to create a TV show, right? So you can do that, but I just feel like you guys could have had the drama without having to totally manufacture certain stuff. Even the UFC uses drama to promote fights. Yeah, you know, they all do that. They all do that. I always notice that. I'm like, why is it that every boxing match these days starts out with a brawl? Like, why is it? It's like, you guys are. It's obvious at this point. Anyway, so Ultimatum, Queer Love, engaged. Couple shocks by splitting after weeks after reunion. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of, I've been streaming now for an hour and 20 minutes. I did want to go through. All right, I guess I'll just go through the cast and kind of make a comment. Make some comments. Okay. All right, so Lexi and Ray. My comments is that Lexi, I don't know, she to me comes off as a bulldozer. Like, she just kind of bulldozes Ray to kind of get what she wants. I don't even know necessarily if Lexi cares if. I don't know. I just don't buy the whole she wants to get married thing, like, and do all that stuff right away. She just. And I don't even know if I believe that she likes Ray all that much. I feel like she just kind of wants a person. It doesn't even really matter if it's necessarily Ray or not, but she just wants a person there. And Ray, I like Ray, but I always felt like she has a lot of personal issues that she has to work on. It's possible that like her nervousness was due to the show. Like she had mentioned that doing the show was really out of her comfort zone. So it's possible that it was that, but I always felt like she was on edge. Like, she looked like she was about to have a meltdown so many different times in the show. I'm like, well, get this girl out of here. Like, she needs like more help than this. So her and Lexi broke up after the show, which we saw after, and I found their Instagram or whatever. This is Lexi's Instagram. She posts a lot. I don't know, from what I have read, Lexi's starting an OnlyFans is what broke them up. So after the show aired, Lexi started an OnlyFans, and her and Ray apparently said that it was their lifestyles that broke them up. And I think that this was it, was that she had an OnlyFans. And so it literally just came out that, like, as soon as the finale aired, a video with her and this other girl came out. So she has a new girlfriend. This caption says couples content loading. So, like, literally, I don't know, to me this other girl just seems like she's just another clout chaser. Like, she's just like, I mean, I don't know, I'm not trying to look down on people for clout chasing. I mean, I'm here online with a live show, but you know, it's just very convenient. I don't know. I guess this is her. Yeah, her and the girl, the new girl. And I do feel a little bit misled because it made it seem like Lexi made it seem like she had like a business or something, that she was like really like on her stuff, like starting her life, and like I don't know if that's really the case. But anyway, and then I have Ray. I brought up Ray's page. So Ray's just chilling, living her life. She didn't actually talk about it. I was on her TikTok and she didn't actually talk about them splitting up or whatever, but you know, she made this.
Okay, I never wanted to make this video, but everyone's like, what is the black card? What happened? We need a story time. So here it is. We broke up because...
Okay, and I had to pause that. So she basically just rickrolled people. So I read on Reddit that the reason they broke up was because of the OnlyFans thing. Hop says, hey, if she found a genuine connection with this new chick, then good for her. Yeah, good for her. I mean, listen, whatever. It's no skin off of my back, but, I mean, okay. So, from what I understand, they shot the reunion in January. And then after the reunion, they said 2 weeks after the reunion, they broke up. So she started and probably started the OnlyFans right after the reunion because she's like, as soon as this show comes out, like, I'm going to have hella eyes on me. Like, let me start an OnlyFans now so that, you know, we can build up to that. Ray wasn't down with it. And so they broke up. So her and the girl would have gotten together sometime between January. I mean, that's plenty of time to meet someone and get in a new relationship after you've been with someone for 4 years and you got engaged to them and got married to and was about to get married to them. I mean, that's time, right? Whatever. Okay, so anyway, we'll move on. And then Yoli and Mal. Okay, so Yoli is 34, Mal 36. I thought that their relationship was great. I didn't think that anything was gonna come between them. I was actually really surprised how it ended up happening between them, that they ended up really breaking up forever and like they're done. But their relationship is very interesting, and I feel like watching their relationship and watching Yoli talk about Mal and how Mal is in the relationship, it made me realize that a lot of the issues, like the gender relationship war stuff that you see online, like a lot of the issues that men and women have, let's just simplify it saying that a lot of issues that men and women have in the home and relationships where the woman is doing all of the labor and the man is not really helping. Like, she's working, she's taking care of the kids, she's the primary parent for the kids, she knows their diet, she knows all their appointments, she's, you know, having to take over a lot of the responsibilities of not only running the house but also paying bills and working, etc., etc. And so Yoli and Mal had a similar dynamic. And so I'm like, I mean, not that I'm trying to say that, like, oh, this is only a woman-men thing. Of course, the whole thing about gay couples being together and gay marriage and stuff is that they're just like us. They have the same issues. They're just regular people coming together, da-da-da. But, like, I really realized that it's not a man versus woman thing. It's a upbringing. It's an upbringing thing. It's a what do you find important thing. It's a taking responsibility thing. Because Yoli complained the same thing I hear women on TikTok, and even myself, I've been in these relationships. The same thing that I hear, Yoli was complaining about Mal. Like, You can't even make sure the toilet paper rolls are full. You don't even put the toilet paper onto the roll, but you're talking about you're ready to have a family. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even go around the house and see what stuff do we need. It's always me. It always is falls back on me. I have to do all the shopping. I have to do all the cleaning. I have to put everything back. I have to, she was just going through the things. And I actually didn't realize that they were as old as they were. I was like, oh, Maul's just young. Like, I thought Maul was younger than me. She's 36. I thought she was like 27, 28 or something like that. Maul is 36 years old, okay? And, when it came to her and Xander, it's like, you said that you want to have a baby, you want to get married. Are you actually saving? Do you have a savings account? And I was kind of excusing it in my mind because, like I said, I thought she was younger. I thought she was like 27, 28. That black don't crack, baby. That black do not crack. But I thought she was 27. But when they said when I saw she was 36, I said, "Oh hell no! Oh hell no! Nah. No, we not doing that. We not doing that no more." And so that was definitely one of the reasons why Yoli fell for Xander, was because Xander said that they had these goals and they were actually doing things to work towards them. Like, they said that they wanted to have children, so they had an account that they were saving for in vitro. They said that, and they also had a insurance that pays for fertilization or whatever, in vitro. And what is the word? Sometimes words, they just go away. What is the word? Whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. Okay, they had all the things worked out for that. So, and it kind of made sense too, like when it came out that Xander has money, as people been saying, and Maul is like, oh, it never made sense, but now it makes sense now that Xander has money, she doesn't have money. And so it's one of those things, it's like literally the same things that men and women complain about. Like, the guys are like, oh, you only want the rich guy, da-da-da. What about love, And it's like the broke guy saying that, what about love? But it's like, what are we talking about here? Like, yes, love is important, but we don't have a fucking car. Our car doesn't work, okay? Yes, love, but we're behind and our electricity is about to get cut off, What about love? But like, you said you want to do all these things, you want to travel the world, whatever. What are you actually doing to do that? So these are not men and women issues. This is literally about like giving and taking. It's all coming back to psychology, man. It's all coming back to psychology. The overfunctioner and the underfunctioner. The overfunctioner is always giving, always doing, always arranging, always pulling, always, and then the underfunctioner is the one that's being taken along and just giving just enough, like the overfunctioners and underfunctioners like always find each other and come together like this. But the relationships are just disastrous, man. It's just disastrous. I had an overfunctioner, underfunctioner relationship. You guys know about that. Dusty King. And other relationships after that. Situationships after that. And it's just not. It's not it. It's not it. And, a lot of women, myself included, find ourselves single because we're not willing to overfunction anymore. Like, it's exhausting. It's very, very exhausting. We've watched our mothers. Well, not my. I hesitated because not my mother. I was raised by my dad. But we watched our mothers, our grandmothers, our aunts overfunction. And I can say that aunts overfunction, and not getting much in return. And so I feel like that was like the view on their relationship. And Yoli said that, Mal said that she felt like Yoli told people falls in love really easily. And yes, I do think that that could be a problem, but I also feel like Yoli may be the type of person that's like, I love who loves me, which I feel like I'm kind of like that too. I like who likes me. And that as long as she has a person who she really cares about, who's she's gonna love on them pretty much. So, whew. We getting deep here. I wanted to talk about the debate, but we might not get to it. I might have to come back and stream another day. Or I don't know. Okay. Tiff and Mildred. Okay. So these two, first argument Tiff has with Sam, her ultimatum partner. The girl said, listen, I look forward to living with a dog. I have no problems with living with a dog. The dog can even sleep in the bed. I just don't like my legs being restricted. So as long as the dog can sleep in the bed and my legs can be wiggling around, whatever, we're fine. All hell broke loose after that. Like, Tiff just had, when I was watching it, I was just like, the reaction is not it's not equal with the offense. And she was just over arguing and over stimulated. I'm like, what is happening here? Like, I could tell that her and Mildred had a tumultuous relationship, especially when she used the phrase spicy Latina. Anyone who knows that spicy Latina phrase usually means violence, okay? It usually means violence, and we gotta stop with that whole spicy Latina thing. It's just not a good look. But anyway, so once I saw that argument, and then when Mildred and Aussie had the argument, I was like, oh, these two be fighting. Like, I said straight up, like, me and Khalil were watching the show. She's not here. She was watching at home, and I was just texting her. Like, we just was texting, talking about the show. But I was like, Tiff and Mildred, you could tell they be scrapping. They're definitely putting hands on each other. Now, it has since come out of the show that Tiff called the police on Mildred because they were having a fight, and Mildred picked up a dog cage and threw it down the stairs at Tiff, which is like so beyond. That is so beyond, like, abusive. Like, I think maybe it hit her somewhat, but it didn't like really, really cause a lot of damage. But if that cage would have, oh man. I honestly am like, I feel for people sometimes when I think about what kind of violence must you have grown up in, what kind of tumultuous raggediness must you have grown up with, that you see that as an appropriate reaction to an argument. Like, there's nothing anyone could say or do to me that would get me to do something like that. Unless you were like trying to kill me and I had to throw the dog cage to stop you from coming up the stairs. Like, that's the only situation. Like, y'all are having an argument. I think she said that Tiff called her a bad mom or something like that because Mildred hit Tiff in front of Mildred's child. And Tiff said that was the last straw for them. That, okay, you hit me in front of your kid. Okay, we gotta end this. And then the dog cage came flying. But, yeah, watching them argue with their respective partners in the show, I was like, this relationship is toxic. And, like, while I don't agree with Aussie's method of running from arguments, it was obvious that Mildred was trying to poke them and, like, stir things up with them and, like, instigate stuff with them, and it's good that, yeah, it was yeah, they were just super toxic. But anyway, like I said, it's come out, and Tiff actually made Tiff made a video, if you haven't seen it, talking about some of the things. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I left a comment on the video saying, when I saw her arguing with Aussie, I told my cousin, oh, her and Tiff definitely fight physically. Then when I saw your argument with Sam that seemed so much worse than what it was worth, it was obvious you were in extreme immediate defensive mode. Then my mouth dropped at the reunion when the dog cage assault came out. That was on another level because her dog is not small. Not that that would make it any better, but my dog's cages weigh 15 to 20 pounds. That's insane. At the top of the stairs, that could have caused you serious bodily injury. Glad you're okay physically. Mildred needs a lot of counseling and rehab. Unfortunately, though, most types like this will never seek it. Hopefully, that's not the case. This is not coming at Latina women, but I wish people would stop the spicy Latina narrative. I believe both you guys said something similar. A lot of the spiciness is straight up DV, domestic violence, and it's not cute, funny, or romantic. And I still stand by everything I said, because people be like, oh, I love me a spicy Latina, and then it cuts to being hit with some fucking a lamp, or like kicked, or like slapped, or just some crazy shit.
Ultimatum queer love, and this is my side of the story. So as you know, I really didn't get that much of a...
So Tiff starts basically telling about everything that happened with Mildred, and they talk about how they didn't know that Mildred's basically like narcissistic, and they started to look up stuff and learn more about it and realize that they were experiencing narcissistic abuse, and talked about the blatant lies that Mildred told. Yeah, Mildred, I don't know. She just gives bad vibes. Like, just her arguing. Yeah, her arguing from the beginning rubbed me the wrong way because of the way she talks.
A chance to talk at the reunion, and I wanted this time to clear the air and talk about my experience with my ex post show in the same way that everyone else did, that I just never got a chance to do. And to be noted, I'll be reading off a lot of my notes, as I want to make sure that I have words clear in the way that I wish to present them. And also a warning, I will be touching on topics of abuse and domestic violence in the video, so please watch at your own discretion. I wasn't even planning to make a video like this, but with thousands of people who have been reaching out to me at this point, sharing with me their most vulnerable stories of surviving domestic violence and narcissistic abuse, I feel like I would do a disservice to my soul by not speaking my truth to the tens of thousands of people out there that have witnessed what happened at the reunion, reflecting back on their confusing and hurtful relationships, thinking to themselves, me too. On top of that, as desperate measure to weaponize their own son in retaliation of how the public sees her, should say enough. And what I mean by this is I was informed that my ex posted a video saying that although she takes accountability for what has happened, that she was in an emotional, abusive relationship, which again, people who are educated on the subject matter can read right through the lines. What I mean by this is the smear campaign continuing after the reunion, like she already didn't have enough to say to begin with. She said that I have threatened to call CPS on her regarding her child and being an unstable mother, which I will get into it in this video.
Wait a second. Okay. Please tell me. Okay, hold on. We gotta read this info beneath this. If I just think I saw what I thought I saw. Okay. Sign up for my next online small group support event. 6/15, 6/22. Limited seats available. Are you seeking a safe environment to talk to fellow survivors of DV and narcissism? Are you having trouble navigating the waters after breaking up with your ex, or maybe you're still currently in a relationship and need support of like-minded individuals who are or have been in a similar boat to you? As many can see on Netflix's The Ultimatum Queer Love, I came out leaving the reunion episode in shambles. The healing process was hard, but I've since going no contact, have educated and have learned to navigate the healing process. It does get better. Although having a professional licensed counselor is recommended, many people in the LGBTQ plus community don't have access to licensed mental health and professionals. There are many peer support groups and community connections all over the country that operate without clinical professionals very well. There are many peer support groups and community connections all over the country that operate without clinical professions very well. Although I am not a licensed clinical professional, I have gained valuable insights and experiences in my own personal journey of breaking the cycle of narcissistic and DV abuse. Self-taught myself dozens of hours on narc abuse, and I have obtained a trauma-informed certification. Okay, this... Do you see where we're going here? Do you see where we're going here? The role I will take during this discussion is to help facilitate the conversation by letting everyone participate, by asking insightful questions, connecting other individuals together on their journey, and occasionally sharing my insights and experiences. Resources will... I am so confused. Wait. In my own personal journey of narcissistic and DV abuse, self-taught myself dozens of hours on narc abuse. Dozens of hours. How many as dozens? 36 hours, 48 hours. And I have obtained a trauma-informed certification. What? Resources will be provided and emotional regulation recommendations will be provided at the beginning of each call. Listen, man. Listen, man. Listen, man. You know what this is giving? This is giving... What's that guru, that dating coach that cheated on his wife? Derek Jackson. This is giving Derek Jackson's wife, Danae. I don't know if y'all saw, but Derek Jackson, when he cheated on his wife, whatever, now he divorced her, and now she's doing classes on how to recover after cheating, and she's charging people $5,000 for a course to meet with her. This is what that's giving. I don't support this. I'm sorry. This is giving a grift. Like, why can't people just stay in their lane? Why? Tiff, why would you do this? Why would you do this, Tiff? Come on. This is very grifty. This is very, very grifty. And especially when it comes to DV and narcissistic abuse, these people are very, very vulnerable and fragile. Bro, come on, man. Come on, man. Resources will be provided and emotional regulation recommendations will be provided at the beginning of each call. I will not be diagnosing or giving professional advice. You damn well shouldn't be. You damn well shouldn't be. I will share with you my healing journey and also have open discussion for everyone in the room to share theirs. In these semi-private 2-hour sessions, you'll participate in a safe, intimate conversation with myself and up to 7 others who are all on different walks of life in their journey to being a survivor. We will focus this session on the healing journey post-narcissistic abuse, or if you are currently with a partner questioning it. Plus, talk about how we recognize certain red flags in a relationship so we can either get out of a current relationship or define what healthier relationships will look like in the future. Other possible topics will include how you left, wake-up calls, reactive abuse, going no contact, changing the narrative on self-worth, healing journeys, and much more. After the call, each person will have the option to be placed into 2 IG chat groups. One group being the people that have connected with in that particular group setting, and the other, the larger IG chat group that contains all survivor and friends from all of my support events. These groups will help keep each other accountable and give friendship and support. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Oh my god. Oh my god. Brain damage from narc abuse.
Do you ever wonder why you feel the way that...
Hey everyone, this is Tiff from...
True, and to an extent they do say, you know, trauma, it really does change your brain. Like, it actually changes your brain. Alright, let's look at this. Let's see if... is there any more... Okay. Is there any more open? Oh, there's an opening on Thursday, June 22nd. The other one was yesterday. Oh, so okay, so they do have, she has openings. It's $40. Okay, it's $40. It's not totally unreasonable. I thought it would have been, you know, super grifty and crazy, like $100 per person. Then that would have been like $700 for the 2 hours. So let's say 7 other people. 7 times 4 is what, y'all? 280. So you make it $280. $140 an hour. That's kind of like what a therapist makes. That's like therapist rate. That's like a therapist rate. Are you seeking a safe environment to talk to fellow survivors of DV and narcissism? I just feel like it's too soon. It's too soon. Like, you haven't been through enough therapy for me, and you haven't taken enough courses. If this event maybe like launched her into, let's say, wanting to go into a career of mental health care, okay, I'm down. But like this 2-hour meet, I'm sorry, I don't know, like, is it just me? It's you know, I'm not trying to stop anyone's hustle or anything like that, but I'm just like, I just don't think you're qualified for this. Like, it would have been better if she would have just had, let's say, a 2-hour event where people can come and do a Q&A, like a meet and greet with her and her fans or something like that, you know? And if people want to ask questions about the relationship, she could just say what she's been through and like the therapy she's been through and stuff like that. Like, if it was like that, that would have been okay. But this whole let's get in a group and talk about like our narcissistic abuse and stuff like that, it's like, I don't know if you're ready for that. Like a trauma certification, that's not enough for me. As someone who's been through actual trauma therapy, post-traumatic stress disorder therapy, medicated, you know, like seriously medicated with multiple therapists throughout the week. Like, I think at the one time I was seeing like, had like 4 sessions with like 3 different people. Like, it's not for the faint, okay? And like the one therapist who brought me back from the edge, okay? She was in her 60s, 60 something year old Jewish woman named Marcia. Shout out to her. She's probably one of the best therapists in Delaware. Okay? And she's been a clinical psychologist for 30 something years. She has certifications in damn near everything you could probably think of. Multiple degrees, okay? It's not easy. Like, I just don't approve of this at all. Tiff, you let me down. You let me down, Tiff. I definitely feel disappointed.
She already didn't have enough to say to begin with. She said that I have threatened to call CPS on her regarding her child and being an unstable mother, which I will get into it in this video. Trying an absolute huge accusation, but also her true colors came out on the reunion. Because it's not about the details, it's about how you treat someone.
Shit, this video
I was
is
drawn to my ex's
203,000
energy
views
because
now.
right off the bat, I noticed she came from a troubled background. And we do come from two different worlds. And although I'll never be able to understand what it's like to be in her shoes, I can guarantee you I have met people who have gone through similar experiences, but can go through their walks of life without purposely inflicting harm onto people again and again. I experienced Mildred as someone manipulative since the very beginning. I guess I was a little naive because I was so in the vortex that I didn't even know it was happening in real time. And as a lot of people who have survived these kind of relationships, you can see again and again the same patterns and the same behaviors. Most of the relationship, I actually felt bad for her. I was constantly being chewed out like a fraction of what you saw on the stage, called hundreds and hundreds of names, but will always softly guilt-tripped and shamed into believing her bad behavior was my fault. It's the victim complex. And because I didn't love her enough, or because she was always afraid of me leaving her, I felt so horrible for everything she was going through that I started to lose my own boundaries in that relationship. For example, rather than saying to myself, I'm constantly being called names, I don't deserve this, the manipulation of a vulnerable narcissistic trait will leave one thinking she must have gone through so much in her life. She feels the need to call me names. Okay. And that's horrible. She broke up with me at least 50 times. You see me talk about it on the show. Not the other way around. Thinking that I am enough out of always in fight, flight, freeze, or vomit and blamed Aussie and victimized Aussie. And although Aussie has childhood trauma to work on, as we all do, Aussie was also expressing boundaries. Something I did not have during the show. In fact, I developed such a thick skin because I had to. Because I had to energy. I didn't have to have a guard up. One person can tell who is getting myself and my own sense of peace, and as a in order to be in. I'm pretty sure that you've seen up until through watching the Ultimatum and the reunion, that I've been nothing but straightforward, and I've also taken accountability with some things where needed. She has done none, and has also been caught in numerous lies, as we can witness, and has constantly been a victim. So when we go on our social media, disgrace to Aussie leaving her. Just that Mildred did get arrested for domestic violence.
Okay, here it is.
I gave them a copy of the police report, and they had this in their hand problem. So moving on, before the reunion, I was transparent with production and reached out to them to let them know of the DV case. I gave them a copy of the police report, and they had this in their hands as the reunion was going on. They were well aware that Mildred did get arrested for domestic violence and that she did admit to. So they had the copy of the police report in their hands at the reunion as it was going down Lifetime. However, I told production that I did not want to bring up the arrest to them, because I was so scared of it sparking more turmoil and disaster when it came to her and her son. I told production that I didn't know how quite to get out my truth as to the real reason why I left that relationship. And no, it wasn't because of the arrest, like you probably see in the tabloids and the magazines and online articles right now. Yes, like many survivors, I stayed. I regret that, but I did stay. And I'll tell you in a second why. But meanwhile, talking to producers, I was so lost on how to navigate telling my story and my truth to the world without throwing anyone underneath the bus. So with those reasons, I came into the reunion with peace and told myself I am not going to bring it up.
What do you guys think about that? I saw people online saying that it was fucked up of Netflix to have Mildred on the show knowing that she is being prosecuted for domestic and violence against another cast member who is also on the show at that moment. Like, that sounds... It's a little icky. It's a little icky, but... I mean, if they both agreed to be there, then... I mean, what can they really do? Well, I know Netflix is probably like, nah, you can't get out of this. You gotta be here. But that actually makes sense how... Because I was wondering, usually if there's something happened with the reunion, the producers usually try and, if the person runs off the stage, they usually try and get them to come back. But they let Tiff leave. They didn't get her to come back. And, like, now it makes sense. They didn't get her to come back because she's got an active case against this bitch. And they're like, okay, all right, whatever. All right, you can go. Fine. God, fine. You want to go home? Fine. Just go. God.
Typical tactic that these kind of people do is they smear campaign you and throw out every single possible bomb they can to make you look like an absolute horrible and her surgery and your truth. So the world can be distracted from a miserable reality of who they really are. And you can see that when I was talking about Shiloh and her surgery, and out of nowhere, she asked what the dates were and then went in very, very hard before I could even get a word out about my dog at that point, for God's sake. Now let's go back to the day of where she got arrested. And here's what I mean by victim mentality. And again, recognize the patterns, because I know my fellow survivors are watching this right now and they're nodding their heads because it hits home. You cannot fake a personality. You can push it like a rubber band, just like how some people can push their personality to act a certain way around their in-laws during Thanksgiving, but then as soon as they come home and back to their baseline personality, they're like, that was a lot.
Most narcissists,
so eventually these people will show them for who they are, and that's what it is. So going back to the day she got arrested, here's what I mean by victim mentality. Yes, she threw a heavy dog gate at me at the top of the huge staircase, and yes, she admitted to hitting me and following me. It got to a point where my own safety was an absolute immediate question, because we know it never starts with the big things. And as soon as I called the police, from my experience, she immediately stopped throwing things at me in that moment. She sat down, started screaming and crying, and she told me this: "Look at what you did. They're going to take my son away from me." Again, I was shamed for protecting myself. I immediately felt horrible for protecting myself and calling for help over my own safety. This is how much she has spent years manipulating me, to the point where it became so second nature because I did not establish strong boundaries in the beginning of the relationship. My ex does not have full citizenship here in America, and for what I'm being told her again, maybe not the most reliable source, but I remember her telling me that if she gets deported for domestic violence, that her son won't be able to come to Mexico with her because of health reasons. So don't quote me on that, but I remember it had something to do with better health care here in America for a disability in Mexico. So again, I was blamed for the instance. She got arrested anyway. And what you'll see in the police report, and what you have also seen Mildred say publicly now, is that I have been calling her a trash mom. And to be honest, I will stand for that. And I absolutely did say that. No, I didn't have the best connection with her son. I did try. And there are many things I will not mention of his behaviors inherited from his mom that it was hard to connect with for the privacy of that child. But he is a loving kid. Mildred loved him as a child and loved him a lot and was such a kind and patient soul towards him. However,
well, you get it. You get the picture. You get the picture. Trash roll around. Yeah. Narc's gonna narc, you know. Glad she got away safe, but I don't know if you're qualified, Tiff. I don't know. I do a lot of psychology research and stuff like that myself for the past 3 or so years now, but I would, which seems like a lot longer than what she's done, and I would never think to hold a weekly group or something. I just would not do that. I'm sorry. Like, I hate to say next negative shit, but what am I talking about? I have a live show where I complain and say negative shit. Whatever, fuck it. I just think it's not okay. I just don't like it. I'm sorry. I don't like it. I don't like it. I've been through therapy and I don't like it. Alright, Vanessa and Xander. Oh, Lord. Okay. Vanessa and Xander. Okay, Xander's pronouns are she, her, and they. Great. Alright, so Xander. Alright. This one I really do have to think about how I'm gonna say this. I feel like definitely when it comes to the narcissistic spectrum, that Vanessa is up there. She's up there. She's up there. You know, upon reflection afterward, I agreed with Lexi at first that, like, why the hell are you even on this show? But I don't think it's wrong now that upon better reflection, I don't think it's wrong for her to question this, especially since she seems to be this Photoshop job. Look at this Photoshop job. Look at her hairline. See, this is what pisses me off. I'm like, bruh, people are doing work like this, and I'm having trouble finding a job. Like, look at this. Look at this hairline. Is theirs like this too? Oh, yeah, theirs is kind of like this. They could have filled in her hair right there. Look at this hair. Look at this. This is crazy. Look at this hairline. Bruh, and I have trouble finding work? Come on. Alright. I'm not gonna hate. I'm sorry. It's getting late. It's getting late. No, but this looks crazy. Come on, look at this hairline. Whatever. Yeah, Xander, I don't know. Vanessa comes off, I mean, yeah, like I said, I don't think it's a problem with her questioning whether she wants to do this, whether she wants to be in a relationship, whether she wants to be in this show. I don't think that's wrong, but I believe that Vanessa is an opportunist. I believe that she saw something about Xander. She saw something about Xander that she liked. Xander, like, thing I noticed that a lot too, a lot of them they've wiped their Instagrams, which I think it's not, I think that's smart. I think that's a smart thing to do. But most of them have wiped their Instagrams, and you only see pics of them within the past, like, 2 years or so. So, I don't know. I feel like she's an opportunist. I think maybe there's something about Xander that she saw as an opportunity, and she jumped on that. I mean, she said that in high school, their boyfriends were best friends. But I don't know. They said, like, I don't know. When I say they, I mean, like, people online were saying that Xander has money or something like that. So she's pretty successful. So I don't know if it's that. Like, maybe Vanessa saw that Xander's successful. They're both 30. Okay, yeah. Vanessa saw that Xander's was successful and was like, hey, I want to live some of that Hawaii rich girl life. So can we hook up, whatever? And yeah, I don't know, she just comes off as an opportunist. And then she said that she was pansexual and she's dated everybody, and she's like, everyone falls in love with me really quickly and really easily. You know, my boyfriend wanted to marry me, my ex-girlfriend wanted to marry me, everybody just wants to marry me. Like, she literally said these things. And I don't know. I don't think she even really cares about Xander. Honestly, I feel like she just wants to get her attention and whatever, wherever she can get it. And I was glad to hear that her and Xander did not get back together. Xander living that Hawaiian life. Yoli did post something. Hold up. I might have closed that page. Okay, Yoli did post something. Oh, let me show you this skit that was actually pretty funny. Someone made a skit. This person made a skit about the show, which I felt was super freaking accurate.
Let's all figure out what kind of pizza we want.
I want every topping.
I'm thinking...
She doesn't want anything. She just wants me.
Are you even here for the pizza?
I only want veggie pizza for the rest of my life.
But you've also said that about other pizzas.
Are you really not gonna ask me what I want?
Mildred, I really don't like your tone. She's just trying to communicate.
I'm not ready to have this conversation.
I don't deserve pizza.
My dog likes sausage.
You still haven't asked me what I want.
Let me finish!
Hi, what can I get for you?
What do you recommend?
Oh, I don't even eat pizza. I could never imagine putting pizza in my mouth.
How did you even get this job?
That's what I said. I was like, how? Why is this woman the host? Like, it just didn't make any sense. I'm like, there's no queer hosts, lesbian hosts that you could find anywhere. Nobody. Okay.
Oh no, Lexi. Vanessa touched my pizza.
I can never eat your pizza again.
My finger slipped.
Okay, Oli, here's a veggie pizza, the only one you wanted.
I have pepperoni.
Let's all figure out what kind of pizza.
Oh, that is so accurate. That is so accurate. Okay, so that was the skit that went around, and then Yoli posted. Wait, hold up. Where is it? Was it this? Oh. Then Yoli posted this picture of her eating a pepperoni pizza. So she's saying that she likes pepperoni better than anything. So it's basically like her playing into the skit, like, yeah, like, you know, that Xander, she likes pizza because of Xander. Oh, this too.
Yoli. So there's some unanswered questions.
I saw this clip too where she talks. I don't know if she's doing it just for the crowd to try and please the crowd, but she makes a little thing like she still wants Xander here, and this is 6 days ago.
Who do I still talk to from the show? I talk to Ray almost every day at this point. Her TikToks are hilarious. She's really funny, like for real. You didn't get to see that much of that on the show, but she's literally the funniest person. Me and Xander still check in with each other often.
Look at this.
So me and Mal are also cool.
Yeah, like what was that? What would me and Xander still message? And like, what is that? Are you just trying to please the crowd? Like, what's going on? Like, what's going on there? So, yeah. So, yeah, Vanessa. This is Vanessa's page. Her Instagram is also wiped. She's had some interesting upgrades, as you can see. It looks beautiful. It looks great. Look at that. Straight. Look how straight it is. And then it has the flat tip. I love this flat tip that they do on nose jobs. Like, I don't know. I've always wanted a nose job since I was like a kid. Like, I swear to God. But it would have to, like, I couldn't pay like $5,000 for a nose job. It would have to be like $15,000 to get like the top of the top of the top of surgeons to do it. But this is fucking beautiful right here. Look at that. Yeah. Yeah, she looks so different. She's gotten other things too. Don't get me wrong. She was an attractive girl. Like, her eyebrows were always on point. But like, her face now, she just looks like... She does have a little bit of Instagram face. You know that look that they all have, like the lips and the rounded forehead and the pulled back ponytail look. She's got the Instagram face now, but the nose looks great. The nose looks great. There's another shot of it. The flat. I love that flat tip. I don't know how they do it. I gotta figure out how they do that. But anyway. So yeah, I don't think she really liked Xander. I mean, her and Xander's relationship is probably like most relationships, that it just starts at a certain point, you're just dragging it out, you know? You guys probably should have broken up like halfway into the relationship, but you just kept going or whatever. And like, I always got the vibe that like Vanessa was like kind of a freak. Like, her and Xander was probably doing XXX parties and, you know, those type of things, and wild and crazy and traveling. Because like, when she tried to win Xander back, she tried to win her back with all the spontaneous things, and Xander kind of seemed like she was like, yes, I love this part of you, but I'm like conflicted because I want like that settled down life, but I also, you know, love the adventure with you. So I think she tried to win her back with the wrong things, but I didn't think they was going to really get back because, like I said, I believe that Vanessa is an opportunist and she's going to have more opportunities after if she's single. So I think that, yeah, that's how I feel. And I'm calling it now. Watch, her ass is going to be on, what's that fucking show? The Netflix dating show where they get all the people from the other shows to date. What is it fucking called? It's not Too Hot to Handle. It's Perfect Match, I think. Perfect Match? Is that what it's called? Perfect Match. Yes, Perfect Match. Yes, her ass is going to be on there because she's pansexual, which means she doesn't discriminate. She dates everybody. Her ass is going to be on that fucking show, especially because she was like a standout person. She's, you know, she's not worried about no fucking Xander. Like, that was all pretending and acting and her crying and no tears coming out. Like, come on, man. All right, anyway, moving on. Oh, I didn't even actually look at Tiff's Instagram. I don't know how I feel about the sleeveless blazer. I don't know how I feel about the sleeveless blazer. I don't like it. But yeah, Tiff seems cool. I mean, she's cool. Like, you know, she's hilarious. They're hilarious. Sorry. They're hilarious. Very funny. Seemed very cool to hang out with.
This is Tiff from Ultimatum Queer Love. Hold on a second. Join me.
Okay. What?
Love Xander, and Xander, this is me shooting my shot to you in a non-sexual fleebs way.
Show up with some snacks. I'm sure she'll invite you in.
Some snacks.
My hamstring still hurts from the splits that I did in Mexico.
All right, so we need a good Xander stretch on the beach.
Yeah, or a massage, a Xander massage.
A Xander massage on
with
the
oils.
Beach. You know, you should start an OnlyFans. That just is probably what you should do.
Just do that. Yeah. What if Xander had an OnlyFans, but instead of like Xander like being naked or with half with clothes off or whatever,
they're stretching clients.
They're stretching clients, and all Xander's doing is just massaging like other women, but like
yeah, those massages look kind of good though. I was like, dang, I need to go get a massage. It's been a while. All right. As for these two, I don't have much to say about these two. Sam seems cool. I like that she helped Tiff learn more about healthy communication, and that she learned more about healthy communication and was patient. And I don't know, like towards the end of their trial marriage, it did seem like she started to maybe develop some kind of crush on Tiff a little bit. And Tiff seemed like they developed one, two a little back, but it was more like, maybe I'll just hook up with you because you're here. But I don't know. I feel like maybe Tiff wasn't attracted to Sam, and that's why they never got there, which makes sense because Tiff likes spicy Latinas, right? So a good girl type, I don't think they would be really attracted to a good girl type like Sam. As for Aussie, Aussie has a lot of issues. A lot of issues. Aussie has a lot of issues. And I hope that they get the help that they need. That meltdown, whoo! That meltdown. That what am I doing? That meltdown was next freaking level. Oh, what does Sam do? Conscious altruism, certified tarot healer, mental health. Okay, so she actually works in mental health. I'm like, when I saw this, I'm like, wait, this is giving mental health. This kind of art is giving mental health. What they talking about?
Yay! We have had this account deactivated for like months now. Many of you have been asking if we're still together, and this is our ring. We'll be talking a little bit more about it, not in this video. Also, our infamous rock, aka labradorite stone. So yes, we still have that too. We are in the middle of getting our keepitsaucy.com back up. So for those of you who kind of knew us before this whole thing, that will be coming back. So
and for those of you who didn't know us before this whole thing, Keep It Saucy. Saucy is my name and Sam's name. Aussie and Sam, Saucy.
We can't wait to interact with you all, and thank you so much.
Thank you for all the love that you are sending my way. I really appreciate it. It's been lifting my spirits. So thank you for all those who get me.
Yes, we have an up and coming cameo star over here. So
yeah, keep those requests coming.
They're quite funny, actually. I get to help with some of the editing, so
it's been real fun. So keep them coming.
Yes, can't wait to talk to you all again soon.
Ciao.
Bye. We're back.
Yay.
Okay. What is Keep It Saucy? This is Aussie's page. What is this? Trans pride. Okay. What does Aussie do? Mental health, humanitarian, environmental. What do you do? What do you do? Narcissistic people. Ooh. Let me see. Did Tiff comment on this? I'm messy. Okay. I guess we won't know, but Aussie does. Anyway, yeah, that meltdown that Aussie had was definitely like there was so much more to it, so much more behind it, and I hope that Aussie gets the help that Aussie needs, pretty much. There's a lot to unpack there. But yeah, that's it. That is my review of the Ultimatum. Let's see. Queer Loves Yoli explains what happened with Xander after the show. Oh yeah, after the show, me and Xander would touch base. We were still there for each other as a sounding board about what we were going through, so we continued to be in conversation for a little bit, then stop for a while to reevaluate where we at. Yeah, it would be hard to like just go from one relationship to jump into another one head first like that. I mean, unless it was really, really meant to be. Rest with Xander in Hawaii. Nobody knows who we were at the time. Upon meeting, we just had so much healing to do. She was getting out of her own relationship, and I was coming out of a 3.5-year relationship and a broken engagement. Being in a relationship together wasn't the right decision. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, maybe does this talk about Lexi? Okay. In a reunion filmed in January, the couple claimed they were so happily together, and Ray had said she was so glad she had proposed to her partner of 3 years. But they split just weeks later, and in an interview with Tudum, Lexi said Ray was just not the right person for what I want. She said, there's no bad blood, and I want nothing but the best for her. It's sad and bittersweet that she's like a distant cousin right now. But I hope there's a way to become friends at some point. She also said to Bustle, the reunion brought up some really old wounds that we thought had healed properly and just didn't. There were questions we had to ask each other about the ways in which we wanted to show up for each other as partners. I think we both realized that it just wasn't right. Oh yeah, this is her and her new girlfriend. I found somebody that she said of her new girlfriend, I found somebody that gives me all of the love and happiness I felt with Mal, her trial partner, mixed with an intimacy that we're exploring. Okay. It's just giving clout chasing. I'm sorry, that girl just doesn't, whatever. She told Bustle, I'm with someone who has celebrated me for me and gives me a lane to dress however I want to dress and be whoever I want to be. I've never felt more comfortable in my skin. It's the best relationship I've ever been in. Oh, please. Oh, please. She's celebrated me for me and gives me a lane to dress however I want to dress and be whoever I want to be. Yeah, I think that OnlyFans thing is checking out, honestly. I wonder if she, with Ray, was like, hey, can you maybe stop posting like nudes online? And Lexi was like, no. And then, yeah, now the new girl, because she obviously also posts nudes online, that she's okay with it. So yeah, alright. Also, I just want to comment that I didn't really get to the positives about Mal. Like, I feel like Mal was really emotionally healthy, which I will congratulate her on. I think she definitely had a lot of, I guess as I could say, therapy dog whistles. Certain words, certain terms that seems like she's been through therapy. Wait, let me just make sure. Yeah, just like it, which make it seem like she's been through a lot of therapy and she's worked on a lot of shit. She has seemed to have had some kind of major ego death, because when the things that she would talk about and say, it just seemed like she had her ego was just not involved. It just seemed like she really wanted the best for Yoli at the time, and definitely have to commend her on that. Yeah, so I've been streaming for 2.5 hours now, and I've only gotten through those 2 shows. I had wanted to talk about Ethan's debate with Pearl, just Pearly things, just lonely things, just horny things, just pick me things. But I don't know. Let me see. Maybe it'll get me back into it. But
what is your message? Who are you speaking to, and what is it you're hoping that they take from this?
I mean, I just believe in speaking about things that are true. And I think a lot of times as women, we're told that we can just wait forever, get married at 35 and have a bunch of kids, and that's just not true.
Who's saying that?
I just think it's the message that's pushed by the media and culture today.
I have to congratulate Ethan for the way he conducted. I don't know, I feel like debate is too strong a word. It was more like a confrontation. This to me came off more like a confrontation than the debate. She of course called it a hit piece afterward, because it's like, which is just so nuts, because it's like, you said these things, like, how is this a hit piece? He's taking clips of things that you have said and showed them to you and asked you, what did you mean by this? Like, can you explain it? Like, there's nothing that he did, like, yeah, there's nothing that he did or said that you didn't say. Like, this is your opportunity to clarify, to clear your name, to denounce. And of course, she didn't denounce anything. I think after this interview, we all know, everyone knows that she's a grifter. Everyone knows that she's a grifter. But I'm trying to figure out what her lane is. Like, what is she trying to do, right? She wanted to get famous on YouTube. She wanted to be an influencer. She wanted to have a show, whatever. And she found this lane to get into, to the whole talking red pills, shitting on women, being a misogynist, being a pick-me, etc. And these guys pay top dollar to watch her do it. And I know that she segued into there, but the red pill thing is over the hill. It's on its decline or whatever. So a lot of these people, not just her, have been trying to pivot into other spaces. Like, I know there was a controversy with Adam22, who, in my opinion, is one of the most disgusting, like, human beings on YouTube. I just, like, you ever just see someone who just, like, makes you just, like, bleh, like, just him, everything that he talks about, everything he stands for, it just is, like, repulsive to me specifically. He's a repulsive human being. A lot of people were upset with him, from what I understand, that he was trying to also pivot, and he started doing interviews with people like Nick Fuentes, those racist people, whatever, because it seems like he's trying to go down the commentator, like, political commentator or general, whatever. And a lot of people were upset about that. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, what is her next, like, grift? Like, what is her, I mean, I know that she's starting to talk more conservative, like, oh, I don't believe in abortion, stuff like that. And, like, I feel like some of the things in this interview that, as Ethan said, was like, just deny, just, you said that slavery was embellished or exaggerated. Just say that you don't agree with that point, that it was incorrect. And she was just like, oh, what was that look she does? Huh? Like, she would not admit it. And I think that that's one of those things, those right-wing things, that, like, you lose the right-wing fan base if you deny anything. If you walk back anything, if you ever walk back anything, if you ever apologize, if you ever say I didn't mean it, that is like the, okay, you've been compromised. We don't trust you. We don't like you. When she first bought Nick Fuentes online, I don't watch her stuff. I only watch other people drag her or humiliate her and stuff like that. It's like a kink of mine. Just kidding. But when she apologized for having this very blatant racist on, very obvious, very blatant racist on, she apologized for it, and her comments were full of people saying, why are you apologizing? You should never have apologized. And I see people online, like YouTubers, bloggers, and stuff like that, sometimes say that they're not responsible for their audiences. But if your audience is full of racist people, like, you don't see some kind of like correlation there or something, like if I was saying stuff, it's like only when you put it in their terms do they like understand. Like, if I started talking about dating and stuff and I started doing the women's version of red pill, like the female dating strategy type, talking about men like that, which I kind of low-key want to do, like an experiment to see what would happen if I did that. But if I did it on the other side and I started having comments full of women trashing men and saying that they're evil and that they need to be controlled and that we need to pass laws and that Sharia law was right and all these kind of things, then they start to get it. Then they're like, oh, well, but it's like, if all your comments are full of racist people, what do you think that's saying about you? Like, the comment sections on these people's videos are just like, it's really dark. Some of it's really dark.
The media is telling women to get married at 35.
I mean, what have you ever seen?
Okay,
like,
yeah,
what's
this part was interesting. This part was interesting. I commented. My comment got some likes on it, which I was like, oh shit. Oh look. Oh, I accidentally liked my comment. But anyway, this interview, and we'll hop to where I said that at, but this interview is iconic. The zooms, the awkward long pauses, Pearl's disgusted one eyebrow up expression where she looks like she smells poop in the room. Pearl having to admit the man she's seeing is low value and has low standards for dating her. Ethan being so approachable and not getting defensive. This is top tier. I laughed, I yelled, I smiled, I raged. What a ride. Because it was so, this confrontation, I'll say this confrontation was very, very entertaining. And in Ethan's previous, y'all know I'm a big H3 fan, but in Ethan's previous debates and confrontations, I didn't really like it. Like, he had one where he was like debating this young red pill guy who, Ethan's like 36, 37, and this kid is like 20. And like, he was schooling the kid, but it was just like, it just felt like punching down to me. I'm like, if you want to debate the red pill guys, don't date this young idiot, you know. Do Fresh and Fit. Do one of those people who is, it's like kind of like pick on someone your own size, you know. That kid is wrong, and it's unfortunate that he has people following him and listening to him, but like I said, pick on somebody your own size, you know what I mean? So this is like I mean, I know that Ethan had the team helping him and confirming stuff and writing stuff and sending links and doing those things. But she has a team too, so she could very well have had her team behind the screen telling her stuff and helping her out. She looks like a fool. She looks like a fool. And now this interview happened on Wednesday, I believe. And now since yesterday and probably tomorrow is like all the responses to all.
It's a homemaker that's on TV.
You mean like in a sitcom, or you mean like in a
No,
reality show?
but I'm saying, like, we don't have them in the media and the culture.
Oh,
Like,
you're saying,
family
where's our
really isn't.
homemakers?
It's really family really isn't pushed. And so I'm not saying it to dog on women, but I just think a lot of times, like, we're lied to. I mean, we have men are called ageist if they don't want younger women. You know, men are constantly shamed when they have a standard.
That's the thing. She just be saying anything. Like, she just says anything. And like, I'm glad that Ethan pointed that out. Like, she'll say something and he actually like did a good job calling her out, but not calling her out in a way that's like makes you run. It's like, he's kind of like, come on, you just say that. Like, that's not real. That's just something that you say. Like, it's not actually based in like any real reality or fact. And you just saying that it's like that because you see it. I have eyes. I talk to hundreds of women. Okay, out of what? 4.5 billion women on the planet. And like, what, 200 million? Let's say, if we cut it in half, let's say 150 million American women.
So it's not, I mean, that's like a conversation from a, I don't know, a 3-hour episode. I don't remember the
I've
context.
heard you bring it up a
And that's
lot.
the other thing. A lot of selective, I don't remember. Oh, did I say that? Oh, I don't know. You're smarter than me. You know, like, she plays stupid in order to get out of arguments. She plays like she forgot, she doesn't remember, which is like, when they're like, oh, you don't remember? Okay, let me refresh. And they bring up the clip of her saying such stupid thing.
I know that.
Yeah, because it's true.
So
and a lot of times it's women.
You're speaking to women. You're saying past 22, your value is going down. And,
yes,
and your message,
to men, your value on the sexual marketplace. So your value, like, that doesn't mean like your personal worth. I'd like to just clarify that, but yeah.
And so your message to them is nothing. You're just saying that because it's true. I mean, why not just say the sun is hot?
I mean, don't wait till 35 to get married. Get married as young as you can.
Right, get married as young as you can.
Yeah.
Now,
You just be saying anything. Just be saying, and then got a nerve to get up on whose internet? Whose internet? Whose internet? Beyonce's internet, Al Gore's internet, Rihanna's internet, to get up on Prince Eric's internet, okay? To get up on Ethan Klein's internet and talk about women's looks, the way women look, women's age, and look. To get up on the internet. Talking about people's looks. Talking about women's over 30s looks. It's bold. It's bold, my friend. It's bold. She's bold. She's bold. Bruh. She's bold. She's bold. And I know that people say, oh, don't talk about the looks. There's no rules here. She talks about people's looks. So you've opened, what they call in the legal system, you've opened the door. Okay, you want to open that door? Okay, we're going to talk about looks now. Bold, bruh. You couldn't do your hair. You couldn't wash it, comb it, toss it to the side. No makeup. Wear something, the clothes. You're about to be in front of millions of people. And you're talking about people's looks? Yikes.
you seem to offer a lot of advice to who you're mostly giving advice to women, would you say?
I wouldn't really. Okay.
Hops, I don't agree with you at all. At all. I understand why Pearl said, I understand why Pearl says, she says, also, I personally didn't see anything wrong with interviewing Nick Fuentes, even if I disagree with some of the points. I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with that at all. Okay, I don't agree. If there's an educational reason to have someone like that on to come and say and promote racist ideas and ideology, and you're not going to push back on them, to have them on just to let them say racist stuff with young people listening? No. And you know how the internet works. I know how the internet works. I know the responsibility. If you have, as a commentator, you have millions of people watching you. You have tons of black followers. I mean, I don't give a fuck about her followers. Fuck them too. But you have tons of black followers, and you bring an openly racist white guy on who trashes her employee for dating also a black guy. Like, what are we gaining from this? What is happening here? Nothing is happening except she's trying to attract the audience of the people who follow people like him, who are going to come and watch her. For the people who are going to come and watch her, that's who she wants. She wants his audience to come and watch. Not for educational purposes, not to turn over, not to combat ideas, just because it's controversial, and her grift is now to become some kind of right-wing commentator or whatever, traditional commentator, like white version for white Candace Owens or whatever. That's what she's trying to do. I'm black too, and it's for those I believe in free speech, period, racist. Yeah, free speech. Yeah, sure, free speech. But you're not gonna have free speech over here. You're not gonna have free speech over here to say racist things. I'm sorry. And I agree with all the people who roasted people who are like, oh, it's fine. All the black commentators that said a lot of her black followers look clownish now because you supported her, and she's literally platforming a racist man who's like, I mean, I'm not getting into it, but I don't agree with that. I'm not platforming a racist person to over here just so they can spew their racism, and then I don't combat it in any way. And it's not in any kind of educational format or anything like that. It's just for them to come on and say racist, hateful things about black people. That sounds nuts to me. That's not free speech. That's clown behavior and clout chasing.
I wouldn't really.
Excuse me.
I guess sure.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I think I've heard you say that even. And then so men.
Like I wouldn't say I'm like an advice channel, like do this. I mean, it's more talking about the state of relationships today is a better way that I would put it.
So as men get older, not like super old, but their value goes up. And as a man's value on the sexual marketplace goes up, they're looking for younger virgins, right? That's important. And so any woman who's not...
Well, historically, virginity's always been a prerequisite for marriage. Like 100 years ago, 85% of women didn't admit to premarital.
Okay, and these stats, these 100 years ago stats, okay, there are different other points of this confrontation where she talked about what are the parameters, what are the control, what is this, what is the other information. But for some reason, when she brings up a stat, there's no other information that is necessary around it. 100 years ago. Okay, I want to know 100 years ago, 1923, okay, in 1923, how they polled 85% of women saying that they were a virgin, okay? Now, where did they do this survey at? Did they do it in the city? Did they do it in the country? How many people were involved? How much were when they were asked this question, was their parents around? Was their husband around when they said this? How do you know if they were virgins? Were they examined by gynecologists? It's not like it's chronic. I'm just gonna say things just to say things. Like, I'm just gonna say it.
Marital sex. So, it's more abnormal now that women are not virgins anymore.
Okay, and also this idea that all women were virgins before they got married is so nuts. Like y'all really think that people back in the day did not have romps in the barn, that they didn't hook up at all? Are you crazy? Are you serious?
Do you know what an appeal to tradition is? What we did 100 years
saying-
ago doesn't predict anything.
Well,
to do
I'm
with
saying
what
the
we do
outcomes are better for women. Like the outcomes are obviously better. We have more women on antidepressants than ever before, and it's tough because there are studies both ways when it comes to female happiness, but most of the ones that I've seen indicate that women are unhappy over a certain age without children, that most women wanted to have kids.
And yeah, Ethan talks about this. Yeah, women are on the antidepressants. Yeah, there was no fucking antidepressants for them to be on. They were just having women with mental health issues, men too, women with mental health issues were having lobotomies. They were having spikes shoved through their brain to stop them from acting out. Put into mental health institutions. The whole what's that mental health disorder? Hysteria? What the fuck is it called? Histrionic disorder, which from what I understand has been removed from the DSM, was supposed to be like women are crazy, the hysteria, like that's where the word hysteria comes from. It comes from histrionic and hist, I believe that root word is in relation to like the uterus and the vagina and stuff like that. It's all I'm not explaining this in a good way because I have a hard time explaining things sometimes, but like there were no antidepressants for women to be on. Ethan talks about
at some point in their life, and I just think, and you can see what happens in front of you. Like you're not blind. Women are happier with the family.
Again, you're doing the I'm not blind. I see this, which is like again kind of an emotional argument. Antidepressants didn't
You
exist
just want to
100
call me
years ago.
emotional today. That's just your go-to today.
Well, I'm trying. It's hard to have a conversation with somebody who
The
says
sexism that I face, the sexism I face in this country, I just get called emotional.
Right.
She doesn't like it. That's so weird. Why you don't like it when he tells you that you're being emotional? Why does that bother you? Especially when, you say it to other people all the time that they're being emotional.
Well, it's hard to have a conversation with somebody who just says, "I feel this." You know what I mean? It's like, how do you address that in a conversation? You say, "I see this. I'm not blind." I mean, that's not really a concrete.
Well,
point to make.
I listed before that.
Let's talk about those. Antidepressants didn't exist 100 years ago. What relevance does that have on the happiness of women then and now?
I mean, we're seeing them get more and more on antidepressants.
Well, men are on antidepressants too. I think those are
but
probably
we're not talking about men.
But if men and women are getting on antidepressants at the same rate, then it doesn't.
Why can't we have a conversation about women without talking about the men?
That's the whole point. And yeah, there's a lot of this. Well, women, Okay, men are also going to. Well, why do you have to talk about men? Well, we're talking about women. Because you're trying to make it seem like this thing that's happening to women is very novel and unique and specific and like very bad. But if it's happening to both men and women, then that thing loses its unique and novelness. It's happening to both people. It's happening to everybody. So you can't try and say that it's like only one person is being affected if everyone is being affected by it.
And
because
it doesn't seem, it's like 90%. I can't answer questions if you keep interrupting me when I'm trying to answer you.
Go ahead.
So it's like 90% of women are on contraceptive or have been on contraceptives at some point in their life. 1 out of 4 women have an STD. 1 out of 3 women has had an abortion. It's like these aren't good numbers. Like, do you genuinely?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, so give the numbers for the other side, please. Because you don't just manifest an STD from the air. It has to come from somewhere. It's coming from somewhere. For example, I can say that black women are the #1 group of people for rising HIV cases. Straight black women, heterosexual black women are the leading HIV cases, black women are 17 times more likely than white heterosexual women to catch HIV. Where are black straight women getting HIV from? See, it would be so easy for me to just throw out that stat, right? Well, black women are the number one HIV, da-da-da. Black women, where are straight black women getting HIV from? That's why it's important to talk about men and women when it comes to these things.
I think that sleeping around is good for women.
I don't think, in my opinion, mass sleeping around, like you're talking about, like 100+ partners, isn't good for men or women.
We're not gonna watch this whole.
Okay,
That's my
do you
opinion.
think sleeping with multiple partners is good?
I think it's completely fine. I don't think there's an issue with women having
Do you think
multiple
it's
partners.
do you think it's good for them? Do you think it's good? I think because it leads to more heartbreak.
Heartbreak?
For men and for women.
Hold on, you keep saying let's talk about women, and I just want to say, if there is a communal experience,
for men either, but I don't think it's the same for men and for women.
hold on, you keep saying let's talk about women, and I just want to say, if there is a communal experience, then it's worth bringing up. Like you say, more women are antidepressants, but if men are on antidepressants in the same trajectory, then that would imply that it doesn't have to do with anything to do with women being promiscuous. It's more of a societal thing that affects both genders equally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wait, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
If men and women are both, that is worth bringing up.
I mean, you could argue a lot of societal issues have come from women being promiscuous.
Okay.
Okay, how do we
So, I mean, you could if 85% of women
How do we
were
measure
virgins
that?
100 years ago, and everyone's on antidepressants. Maybe
So
it
is
doesn't.
society perfect?
Okay. That's why I'm like, it's so unserious. It is so unserious. 100 years ago, women weren't as promiscuous, and they weren't on antidepressants, which weren't invented, by the way. Now, 100 years later, women are more promiscuous, and they're on antidepressants. It's because they were sleeping around, obviously. Like, what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh my gosh. Like, how? It's like a point and a point. How did you get these points to touch? How did you make this connection?
Maybe it doesn't have good outcomes for women.
Society was perfect 100 years ago when women were virgins.
I didn't say perfect, but there was more intact families, which
The
I think
life
is
expectancy was like 50 back then, just so you know.
I did not say. I don't know, what does that have to do with anything?
Well, you're saying the quality of life. I mean, things were better back
No,
then.
I said we.
don't
No,
think
that's.
so.
I said we had more intact families, which I think is important.
And that's the other thing too. Where is this idea coming from that families back then were intact and like cohesive and all those other things? Like 100 years ago, my family was in the Caribbean. Like, not directly like my grandfather. My grandmother was born in 1919, I believe. 1919 or 1921, something like that. So 100 years ago, right? Not necessarily my grandmother and grandfather. Oh, wait, what am I talking about? My grandfather, actually. Yeah, my grandfather on my mother's side. Okay? Didn't marry my grandmother. Had kids with her. Had kids over here. Had kids in Trinidad, in St. Vincent, in Barbados, in kids all over the damn place. Okay? Like, not taking care of homes. Like, I can only speak to, because I know more about the black community and stuff, but I know plenty of people that can talk about their grandfathers or their great-grandfathers that had kids all up and down over there with grandma, and then has a kid up the street downtown. I have people in my family that I know for a fact went through this. So I don't know why I hate it's goofy. Like, it's really fucking goofy how much red pillars, the right, these fake traditionalists try to romanticize the 1950s, the 1940s, 1930s, 20s, whatever. Grandpa was a drunk. This person, uncle was this, left his family, kids all up and down the town. Like, what are you talking about? Like, they really try and make it seem like in the 50s, every family, or even most families, were fucking Leave It to Beaver. Like, it was not like that. Kids working, dying in mines, fucking working since the time they're 4 or 5 years old, smoking cigarettes by the time they're 11 years old. Mom is working too. Like, they make it seem like mom is just home, not doing anything. Mom is working. Mom's busting her ass in the field, or she's working, cleaning houses for some family. Like, my great grandfather, this is back in Barbados, had a whole ass family and was sleeping with he owned a farm, plantation, whatever, and my great grandmother, from what I understand, was taking food to her father, who worked on my great grandfather's plantation, and at some point he got her and slept with her and impregnated her with my grandmother. So, and that happened a lot. Even though wealthier families that had opportunities to have this kind of traditional life would have outside children, all kinds of crap. So it's like they're romanticizing, like, the family. The family was fucked up and has always been fucked up and will be fucked up. And this is actually something that I wish I could suggest directly, but I might have to do it to myself. But I want to, one of these people, if not Ethan, like Destiny or somebody, needs to have a fucking historian on the show. Like, not a regular, these weirdo, pseudo intellectuals that they pulled numbers up on Google after looking for 15 minutes, but an actual historian who has studied history and, like, has proof, and because there's a lot of proof of what actual family life was really like for the average person. You'd have to pick a country or whatever, but the average American or average European, you know, in the 1700s, 1800s, 1900s, into the 20th century. Because they don't know. They make it seem like it's all Leave It to Beaver. Like, it's all, hold on, I'm trying to figure out, what's that artist? The Brady Bunch. Like, all that shit was television. It's not realistic. There's this famous artist from the 1950s. I forget what his shit was called. Damn. What was his name? Norman Rockwell. Okay, I'm gonna look him up. Yeah, they making it seem like this is how families really were in the 1950s. Or a Norman Rockwell painting. Like, this shit. Bro, it was not. It was fucking not. Like, you guys may recognize, this is Norman Rockwell. He's a famous painter. This is probably one of his more famous paintings. Like, bruh, it's not. Like, there needs to be a historian that comes on here and talks about this.
Or N.
Okay. Let's talk about where were we? We were talking about.
So I'd love to hear this side.
Oh, this is the pay gap one. Sorry, but if I can, it's like more virgin, right?
The faces.
Mm-hmm.
The faces she made and how she acted during this, to me, 100% proves that she doesn't believe mostly none of this stuff she says. And it's like her saying it's a hit piece, her hearing her own self say these things and watch videos of her saying this, she looks ashamed. She looks like she has shame. She looks like she's embarrassed by these things that she says. But she knows she cannot deny it. She can't walk it back, because if she does, then she's going to be kicked out of the club. But she's a grifter. She's a grift. And the new grift, as we will watch it manifest over these next weeks and months, because this interview was just like total fucking Nagasaki on her. Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Like, she just looks goofy, like super, super goofy.
So let's say you're in the dating field, right? You're looking for a partner, right?
What do you mean?
I mean,
He's mad. He's lost her. He lost her like about 45 minutes ago, but
single essentially, I guess, and you're looking for.
And so this smile, I think that she's not single. I think she's probably started dating someone.
Or significant.
Maybe not.
Okay.
And the saying maybe not. I think if she wasn't, she would just say no, I'm single.
Okay.
I think she's definitely seeing something. And like, this is the clip that I really wanted to show, because when Ethan starts to talk about like, by your own metric, you're a low value woman, and that any man would be with you would be a low value man, she starts to look like she's panicking a little bit. Like, she's like, oh shit, like, you're talking about my partner, you're saying he's a low value for wanting me, and you're saying that I'm low value.
If you're looking for men, if a man who is willing to settle, let's say you're not that old, but you're 26, and you say that anyone over 25 is like almost damaged goods or getting worse and worse.
No.
It's less valuable. It's less valuable.
Correct. Yes. I would say I was more valuable 5 years ago. Yes. In terms of the dating market. Yes.
So do you think that, how can somebody who's older and not a virgin and less valuable, how can they get in a relationship with a man and not think they're a loser? Because if you're a low value woman, then in a sense, you be judging the guy who's quote unquote settling for you because he couldn't get a higher value woman. So in a sense, a guy that you would settle for would be a loser by your own metrics. Low value.
What are men supposed to do? 95% of women aren't virgins on their wedding days. You could be a multi-millionaire and not get a virgin.
How do you?
I think that's why you see more men walking away from relationships.
No. How do you enter a relationship and not think that he's a loser because he's low value?
I don't really know how to answer that question.
But it is interesting, right? Because in a sense, only a low value man, and I'm sorry, I'm only framing this in your worldview. Let's say a medium value man would decide to settle on somebody like you who's a little bit older, not as fertile. You are not a virgin. And also, I'll tell you something else. You like being in the foreground, which is not good for traditional marriages. I mean, he's looking for someone who wants to build a home. You don't know how to cook either.
I don't expect to be with like a high value guy. I think that's silly.
Okay. What's your
when I think of high value, I think of like top.
So she's gonna say that whoever she's with is low value. Like, I couldn't see myself with a high value guy. So then that default would be that whoever is with her is low value.
5% of
Yikes.
men.
So what value do you think you'll be settling on in your own personal life?
What value will I be settling on in my personal?
What man do you think is reasonable for you to pursue?
I just kind of, I think that's a bit of a inappropriate like question. But
That's interesting because you spend like all day talking about this stuff. I find that it's really interesting to have you and put this analysis into use. Why is it
Well, because
inappropriate?
the way you're framing the question is a bit disingenuous.
How?
I think most women
How is it
by
disingenuous?
She did that the whole
yeah, I think it's a bit disingenuous.
Why?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Why? Why is it disingenuous? I'm analyzing your viability by your own metrics, which you do all day to other women and men. Why is that disingenuous?
I don't. Okay.
Like, I think it's fair to say, because you were talking to women about expectations and men about expectations based on their value. I think it's fair to say, okay, well, what's your value of man you're looking for based on your own,
What's my value to a guy that I'm
No.
looking for?
What value of man?
I wish I don't know what you want me to say. Like, I wish I was a virgin. You know, I should have waited.
No.
Like, I don't know what. Like, I
wish I was a
I don't.
virgin.
You know, most guys don't expect that in 20.
Bro, that's why I'm like, these people are idiotic, man. Like, you guys are getting scammed, man. You guys are so getting scammed. There is no putting the top of the box back on Pandora's box, okay? The way the future is going, it's going that way. It's not going back that way. So the best thing you could try and do is figure out how, as we go this way, what is the best way to navigate this way. We cannot go this way properly if you're trying to go back this way. That's why these conversations are, like, people like her are just so useless, pointless, stupid. Saying things like, oh, I wish I was a virgin. What does that literally means nothing. There are plenty of people who are virgins at marriage and get divorced. It means nothing. Nothing.
2023, unfortunately. I think men adapt to the market, but I think to say that you should just sleep around is a bit silly.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking.
Well, that you were saying that, like, that more partners is good. I think that's a bit silly.
No. Okay, but
I think
hold on. I'm
it's silly
talking
to
about
say,
you,
like,
Pearl. I'm talking about you. Your value by your own metrics is going to be not super high. So,
yeah, it's less high than it was 5 years ago.
But it's not even just the age thing. It's like you are working. You're in the foreground. You don't know how to cook. These are not good things for your scorecard.
Hey, I'm actually pretty good now. I've gotten.
I know she does not fucking. This is what she does. She takes the chicken out of the pack and she puts it in a pan and she puts it in the oven, and then when she takes it out, she puts salt and pepper on it and then some ketchup on the side. That's her pretty good. I can just fucking tell that's exactly what she does.
Have a cook. Okay, good. You're working towards it, but unfortunately, as you age, those things are going to bounce out.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like you start in a certain place in life, but all you can do is improve and get better.
That's interesting. I agree. So what is the point of telling people that they're...
Because a lot of times we're like we're lied to. We're not even told what men want. Being told that men want younger women is like crazy, even though that's something.
That's not true, by the way. That's not true, by the way.
Men don't want younger women. They want
because like that. It's like 5. Yeah, that's fair. I think. I mean, based. You know what I mean? Hey.
Yeah.
Anybody who marries me would be great.
I didn't.
Oh yeah.
No, I won't take any.
Okay,
a low value man.
I think if you get married, you're lucky to get married.
Of course,
that's my opinion.
That. Okay.
So
she doesn't want to upset her man.
So
I would feel very lucky. If I was married, I would feel.
So you'll take anything.
No, I won't take anything. It's a bit silly.
Your standards are quite low.
I didn't say.
That's what you said.
That's not what I said, but okay.
I said I'll be happy if I get married. I don't, you know what I mean? Hey.
Yeah.
Anybody who marries me would be great.
I didn't say to anyone.
How would you? So, where's your value as a woman? Would you say, like, on a scale of 1 to 10?
I give myself like a 5.
A 5? Yeah, that's fair, I think. I mean, based on your metric, I'm not saying one way or the other. So we're looking for...
I think I'm a 5, so...
So you're saying that all men want to have sex with younger women. This is kind of interesting data, but are you...
I think, like, the
other thing... All right, that's the end of that segment. I think this was another thing.
That's a lyric of...
When they were talking about body count.
Because of Drake.
In general, I just don't.
I mean, you could argue 15 to 20, 25. Like, I don't know exactly what point, but usually there is a point for most men.
Sure,
where it's
and
like
women. I mean, and women. I don't think women want to date someone who's like slept with...
I just don't think it's equal.
It's not equal. Because Drake.
Because sexism.
No, not because of Drake.
Oh, yeah. What did she say about
Respect and admire.
Yeah, she was saying a bunch of shit
how many
that was
sexual
just
partners
like,
that women have had.
Like when she was talking about how serial killers get all these letters and marriage proposals and women prisoners don't. It's such a lie. It's so not true. Like so many female criminals, especially the famous ones, all get marriage proposals. All get marriage proposals. That's like a whole other psychological genre of analysis. It's not only men.
Unless it's like 100, but that's true of men. Men who have had 100 sexual partners are also pretty...
Do you think women care about Drake's body count?
Why?
Like women want to sleep with Drake and like other celebrities. Do you think...
It's Drake. It's Drake. Do you think men care about Rihanna's body count? No. Do you think men care about Tiana Trump's body count? No. They would still sleep with her. Are you kidding me? It's called simps, right? Don't you guys have a word for that?
About their body count?
Are we talking about Drake or are we talking about general pop? I mean, Drake's a celebrity.
But men aren't lining up to date like Lana Rhoades, Mia Khalifa, and like actually marry them.
You fucking crazy? Dude, are you crazy?
Nuts, because it's funny that she mentions Drake, because isn't Drake's baby mama a porn star? So he was digging in her enough, often enough, that they had a whole baby together. Just saying. Just saying. What's that woman? Hold on. And what's his... Sophie. You know, and it wasn't even just him and her. They were on dates, right? Like, they were dating. They were dating. This is them together. This is not just in the bedroom to cover a night. What is this? This looks like a champagne bucket right here. Okay. All right. Porn star. This woman had his baby. His king. His young king. Okay. Wrong example.
You know, there's
Drake has been isn't Drake's reputation, like when he started, was like taking strippers out of the strip club? Like that was his thing. Like having serious long-term relationships with strippers. Hop said, but Drake didn't marry her. Drake hasn't married anybody. So all of his girlfriends are sex workers pretty much. If they're not strippers, then they're OnlyFans, then they're porn stars. All of his girls are sex workers. Long-term public relationships.
Exception.
And a lot of those porn stars are married. Riley Reid, married. There's another one that's really famous. Married. Those women are married. They find a husband somehow.
To this, but I would just say in general, for most cases, you know, we could talk about exceptions.
This
but
is the wrong one.
Crazy? Do you really believe that? Dude, men would... There's Quite literally.
There are
people
men
would-
that would literally give their
Come
life
on,
to do that.
you can't believe that.
Yeah.
Always
You
done
think
it.
the
would
men with the
die for
most
that.
options, that's what they want to do.
Public men, public relationships.
Men with the most options want to do what?
We're not talking about men with the most options. Are you talking about women with the most options when it comes to Drake? Or are you just talking about average fans?
I'm talking about Drake does not have a problem.
Serena Williams messed with Drake. Rihanna was with that billionaire, what's his name? Her body count, and then she went back with A$AP Rocky. He didn't give a fuck about her body count. He's a freaking millionaire. I'm sure A$AP could have found a young virgin somewhere. Jeff Bezos is marrying his 54-year-old girlfriend, who I'm sure she got some bodies. I'm sure she got some fucking bodies. He could have found a 20-year-old virgin.
I'm getting laid because
It's just not based in reality at all.
of his body count. I would imagine that
Right.
porn
That's
stars
not-
would have
yeah.
I would imagine that porn stars would have a hard time getting into marriage with a man that they respect and admire.
Sure. I mean, well, no, maybe not, because they're doing it. They're getting married to men that I would hope that they respect and admire. But what about male porn stars too? Like,
Aren't you the one that's always been like, let's not talk about...
generally hard, just general for anybody. There's so many millions of people who are not in porn and have a hard time finding someone that they want to marry, to respect and admire. So
fringe cases? What's the point of bringing up Drake? That's like the most extreme example, wouldn't you agree?
I mean, we could even go into like normal dating. I think
That's
it's silly.
more important. Yeah, let's
like,
do
this
that.
is I just think it's silly to argue that men want to date women with high body counts.
No, they don't want to. I'm saying I don't think it matters, especially the number you gave me,
Care
5
one
to
way or
7.
the other,
Yeah,
yeah.
5 to 7. I don't think men care about that in general. I just don't.
I mean, you could
yeah,
argue.
I agree. It's like this conversation is such a chronically online conversation. Like, I've been in New York. I've been in the Caribbean. I've been to Europe. I've been down here, South Florida. I'm trying to think if there has ever been a single guy who has ever asked me that. I've gone on a lot of dates. I've met a lot of people. Just, it's what happens living in a big city and working as a freelancer. I'm pretty much always working with people that I've never met before. Like, just this weekend, I was working on a music video. A bunch of new people I've never met or seen before. I really don't think so. And honestly, if there was a guy who felt like, I feel like the type of guy who would care about that or who would want to ask me that, we just would not encounter each other. Because it's just like, that's just not, you know? Like, I do think there's one person I can think of that asked me. And it's just like, that is such a, like, gross, childish, private question. It's just stupid. It's a chronically online question from chronically single people who have a hard time dating, who've never had a real relationship with someone. Pearl, the opposite sex, Fresh and Fit, those people never had a real relationship.
You 15 to 20, 25. Like, I don't know exactly what point, but usually there is a point for most men.
Sure,
it's
and
like,
women. I mean, and women. I don't think women want to date someone who's like slept with.
I just don't think, I don't think it's equal.
It's not equal. Because Drake.
No, not because of Drake.
Like, I think that objectively there probably would be more men who cared about that than women who cared about that. But I haven't met one bold enough to ask, at least not to me. They knew, I guess, who they were dealing with. They knew not to ask me that dumb shit.
Because we should remove like celebrity and outside. One like Drake lyrics. Fast. All right, let's talk about
Drake
one
also
last
seems
thing.
like a creepy, probably. Yeah.
And I do thank you for being here. You know, it's combative, but
or say that they
Men want virgins, but have sex on the first to third date. Make it make sense.
it's combative, but what you think about it?
This sounds similar to the slavery stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who.
Okay, there was one other thing. Okay.
Did you say that?
Yo, okay, this was the best part. Whoever is on the camera doing the zooms, like what, bro? I love H3 and their production value, and I told you guys when I started doing this live show. I told y'all when I started doing this live show that that's like the level I wanted to get to, which is funny. Like, look where we are now. Well, let's see where we are now and see where we are a year from now. But I'm reading these chats. I think she was simply trying to convey that if she was a virgin, she would have had a greater chance at getting a higher value man. And you guys got to start having a distinction of higher value versus higher earning. Value is not, you guys are not using the correct word. And being a virgin does not increase your chances at all. It does not increase your chances at all. And I have been in those spaces, and I actually encounter wealthy men a lot, especially since coming down here, living in South Florida. Like, I don't know, I'll probably get into it more on another stream, but people, it really does give chronically online. Like, you guys are not in reality, like, you guys do not come across people with money, like, clearly. Like, you never talk to them. You never been in their house. You never been on their boats. You never been to their jobs. Like, you never seen their families. Like, it's really giving chronically online. It's giving, I'm outside the club hating and I can't get in. Like, it's just like not what you think it is. It's not what you think it is. I've been to the houses of filthy millionaires. You know, I showed in the beginning of this stream a mansion that I took a picture of. I met their family, okay? And the husband and the wife were around the same age. The wife was not some young virgin, quiet, stay-at-home mom. Like, it just is not that. Like, it's just not that. Most of the time, it's not that. Another woman was a stay-at-home mom, but she had a whole career before they met, and he's a millionaire. I don't want to give too much details about their identity. They lived on a golf course. Do you know how much money it costs to live on a golf course? You're paying $40,000 a year just to live on the golf course. This does not include your mortgage. That's an additional fee that you have to pay. Okay, like really, really rich people, Jupiter, Florida, like where Serena Williams lives, like, it's not what you're like. And this is the reason why they never have people like that on their shows, because those people are actually out living their rich ass lives, and like, actually those men are actually like changing the world and like making it a better place, or they're just getting the bag. And like, these loser guys, whatever. It's just like I said, chronically online. Never met a rich person in your life, never spoke to one in your life. It's just like, it's not it. Another one I just worked, like I said, a job I just did this weekend. The executive producer was producing a project for their child, and wealthy, come from Los Angeles, mom running the show. Dad was also, you know, they're that level. Dad was more the I don't want to say laid back. Yeah, he was more laid back, quiet. Like, yeah, cool, okay. You know, both of them bankrolling this project. Mom was the same age as dad, in their 50s. Like,
That's awesome. That's easy to do.
I meet these people all the time. All the time.
You also said Georgia.
And I guarantee you, the mom, born and raised in Los Angeles and working in the entertainment industry, wasn't no damn virgin.
Washington was viewed from his slave.
Goofy shit. It sounds goofy.
I guess that's part of what.
It sounds goofy.
Part of what the myth, I guess, is that not all slave owners were
Oh yeah.
evil.
So slavery, right.
You
Pearl's thoughts on slavery.
also said George Washington was viewed from his slaves like a father. I guess that's part of what the part of what the myth, I guess, is that not all slave owners were evil. Some were father figures like George Washington. Did you say that?
I don't remember.
I'll pull
I
it
think
up.
like if someone's a great and powerful man in
Oh, you don't remember? Here, let's refresh your memory.
history to the point like they're talking about him hundreds of years later. He didn't have any kids, but like,
Didn't he own slaves?
what?
Did he own slaves? George Washington.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, no, real man to me. I'm just saying.
No, it's actually interesting. He
I remember when her show started like this and the video started going around. I was like, who is this? Like, why do you keep sending me these pictures of this grandmother? Why do I keep seeing this grandma floating around?
had a different, like he inherited his slaves, and it wasn't as simple as he could have just like let them go, because the debt that's incurred on them, like you can't just release them. And so his slaves actually, like he had a really good relationship with them, and they considered him like a dad.
Like, you thought you did, you thought you ate. You thought you ate with that one.
What's your source for that?
That was from a Thomas Sowell book.
Thomas Sowell. So he's your guy. Thomas Sowell's the man. Thomas Sowell wrote a column about supporting segregation in public schools. George Washington.
You want me to apologize? Like, you want me to talk about every single one of this man's opinions?
No, I just want I just want to know what you think. Do you think racism was embellished? I mean, it's so easy. I mean, just say no.
I think okay. There was a time where I started to read accounts from actual slaves. So these were like in like and I can't really talk about this. Like, even if I talk about this now, they're going to clip it. They're going to say things I didn't say. But it's like, I used to read actual slave accounts, and I was surprised how many didn't say bad things about their owners after they were free.
She cannot be serious. You cannot be serious with this take. I just want to like... Like, you cannot be serious. This is unserious. This is unserious. This is goofy as hell. And it's like, obviously she's a grifter, but here, I think she really believes this shit. This is the thing. You know how they have like liberal brain? Okay, this is a concept that I wish more people would talk about, and it's fortunate that this is like the end of my stream, so I feel like this is going to be buried deep in the recesses, but I went through this and I recovered from this, right? You know how leftists, they start to see like racism, sexism, blah, 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 and everything? The same thing happens with right brain, the right, and like the whole rebellious, like opposite. Like, all of a sudden, once you start being opposite, like they think that they're the truthers, right? Once you start being opposite, then for everything you got to have an opposite. It's like every single thing you got to have an opposite. Oh, slavery is bad. all right, I'm going to find some way to find that slavery is good. Or I'm going to find some way to find some slave who enjoyed being a fucking slave. Like, they're going to find some things like, oh, you say the Holocaust is bad? Okay, they're going to find some way to excuse it somehow. Like, they're like, this is the truth. This is the truth that they don't want you to tell. You're not allowed, that's what they always say. You're not allowed to talk about this stuff. You're not allowed to talk about how slavery wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as they're making it seem. Like she said, I was surprised to see that there were slaves who didn't have anything bad to say about their slave master. They're a fucking slave. They're a fucking slave. That is the whole nature of I'm leaning to say occupation. It's an occupational hazard of slavery to have Stockholm syndrome, to see your master as a hero, as a father figure. Like, are you serious? And this is at her big ass age, at her big hardback age of 26, you're saying, I was surprised to see that the slave did not have anything bad to say about their master. How many times do we see people in abusive relationships that their partner will attack them, and then they'll report them to the police, and then when it comes to the court case, they'll say, no, they never did anything, they loved me, they did this. Or people who get kidnapped or whatever, and they start to build a relationship with their captor in order to survive. When you're a slave, you have a slave mentality. Not to mention, let's say if one of these slaves were like in the house or something like that, she probably also believes that, like, Sally Hemings and Thomas Jefferson had a true, loving, romantic relationship. You cannot have a romantic relationship with your master under slavery. It's just, it's not it. It's like when they say, like, a child prostitute. A child cannot be a prostitute because it is underneath the umbrella of human trafficking. So they cannot consent. They cannot do this. They can't do it. You cannot, do that. Why does this even need to be said? And the thing is, it's a lot at stake, so I know that Ethan couldn't get to everything, but I remember seeing this part and being like, what? What?
Mm-hmm. And it's not to say, like, slavery was a horrible institution, but I can't talk about that fact without getting canceled. Institution.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to say, like, slavery was a horrible institution, but I can't talk about that fact without getting canceled.
What fact? That some slaves were so brainwashed that they weren't able to say anything negative about their slave masters?
I can't say, hey, these slaves had a good relationship with their owners
because
without
it's
getting
not
canceled.
She said it out her own mouth.
Horrible institution, but
I can't say that these slaves had a good relationship with their owner. How? Oh. How does a slave have a good relationship with their owner? She said that. She said that out of her own mouth. The slave had a good relationship with the other human that owned them. What? Like, do you not hear yourself? That's like saying the child prostitute had a great relationship with her pimp. What? What?
I can't talk about that fact without getting canceled. I can't say, hey, these slaves had a good relationship with their owners
Because
without
it's
getting
not
canceled.
true. Because it's just not true. It's not.
And his reaction is just like, Pearl, it's just not true. It's just not true. Like, you don't see that? Like, you don't see that?
True.
I can't talk about that fact without getting canceled. I can't say, hey, these slaves had a good relationship with their owners
Because
without
it's
getting
not
canceled.
true. Because it's just not true. It's not true. What George
Well, if
Washington
you-
was not a father figure to his slaves.
Well, if you look up like I think it was Booker T.
47. Let's see. 47 of George Washington's slaves tried to escape. Would you try to escape if you
Okay,
left
well
your master?
maybe that one was wrong. I don't know. This was like
okay.
a little bit on a podcast months ago. I don't really remember, but
don't remember anything.
and I said I wasn't sure if it was Washington either in that interview at some point. But
Well, George
the whole
Washington
thing I'm
was.
bringing up is I'm not even allowed to have this conversation without.
What do you mean not
people
allowed?
saying-
That, but I mean, we're giving you the
I
platform.
mean, I
right?
got months of backlash for this. I'm now like you guys
It wasn't that long ago. It was like, what, 2 months ago? Come on now.
are kind of trying to do a gotcha moment.
No.
on-
I didn't know about the
It's
backlash.
like, you know,
I
I'm
promise.
not really.
I didn't know about the backlash. I promise I didn't.
I had months.
I just want to
and
know what you
months-
think.
Like I had months of people like it's like if I have this conversation, I had months of people calling my employees slaves.
Your employees. Slaves. They are. Aren't they working for slave
Like, that's what
wages
they
for her? Isn't she paying them slave wages? Or no?
Fault like
That's
what they-
horrible. Yeah, I disagree. That
Horrible.
sucks.
Horrible.
But at the same time,
And like even the guy, and you know this because you watched the
Sucks.
horrible.
but at the same time,
And like even the
that's horrible. Yeah, I disagree. That
horrible.
sucks.
Horrible.
But at the same time,
And like even the guy, and you know this because you watched the video of that guy.
Mhm.
The reaction you just like you're acting oblivious, so I didn't know that, but you do know that because
what?
the reaction you just watched was my former co-host who insinuated that my employees were being colonized.
oh, I didn't
Like,
know that. I
yeah, and
promise.
so
I
that's
just
the
wanted to
clip
get your
from
take.
there.
It's
Well,
true.
people say all that. I just wanted to
But did he lie?
know what your thoughts are on this. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not like my channel isn't about slavery. That's like a fringe.
I know.
comment.
I want to know about
so-
you.
But I'm asking like, why are you bringing this up when that's not really what my channel is about?
I can
Like, you're
I can
just
only
picking
ask
out-
you
you're
things that are
picking
about.
out-
This is interesting. I want to ask you about it. But do I can only ask you things in a confined space about your channel?
You can, but you understand how that looks to me. It's like you're just trying to pick out every single.
Listen, Pearl, to be
like-
fair, to be totally fair, you could just say, I don't think slavery was embellished.
Like you were
Like,
just
that's
talking
super
about, you
easy.
research- like
That's a layup for most people.
I was quoting a book. That's the crazy part. I was quoting a book.
So do you
it's like,
agree
I
with his statement, though?
Yes, she does.
Do I think overall it was embellished? Some parts, sure.
There it is. Which part?
Some parts.
No, please tell me which part.
I
Just
think-
tell me.
I think
There
that
it
you
is.
can't.
Just say it.
I think that
Say
certain
it
slaves.
with your fucking chest. Say slavery was embellished. Just say it with your chest.
Had good relationships with their owners. Not
You
all.
will definitely win points with the right wing crew. Just say it with your chest.
Well, maybe not most, but I think some did.
And that just
And there are accounts of them saying this.
So some slaves had good relationships with their masters. Therefore,
And see-
slavery
and
was
see, this is what
embellished.
you know how this is gonna go for me. Like I don't know why you're doing this. You know I can't have this conversation without them painting it a certain way.
Well, just own it then. Just do it. Just say what you want. You know what I mean? Just be red pilled about it. Who is they? I don't know who's they. Just your haters or someone?
The left.
The left.
Do they have parentheses around the they? Just wondering.
Like I mean, you even came in.
Yo, that I don't know if people caught that. I don't know. I don't know if people caught that joke from Dan, but that was like top tier right there. I don't
And
know
like
if
you
caught
laugh.
that.
Who is they? I don't know who's they. Just your haters or someone?
The left.
The left.
Do they have parentheses around the they?
Like, I mean, you even came in, like, you researched, like, my family.
You know
like,
what
that's
that
weird.
means or don't.
How's that weird? It's all
They're
public.
public
It's stuff
figures.
you talked about. You literally talked about it. It's called preparation, which you clearly done none of.
I didn't
Like, you
talk
literally
about it
do
with my
no
mom.
preparation, and you talk.
Okay. All right. Anyway. Ugh, that one was good. That one was good. They're all going crazy over it. Destiny watched it. He was fucking losing his mind. You know.
I think that if you're going to vote, you should have the same responsibility as the men, and women don't want to do that. It's either we're equal or we're not equal.
Okay, well, just to be
equal,
fair,
if we're really equal, have the same responsibility. But again, it's equality when it benefits us.
This is meta. I'm watching a confrontation inside a review.
But your logic doesn't even make sense. I mean, you're talking about, first of all, there hasn't been a draft in the United States in 50 years, right? So if there was
it's
a
so weird too, because I thought when Destiny went on her show that okay, she was gonna be one of the people that he talks to regularly, but he hates her now. Like, he hates her now.
draft, maybe we could have this conversation, but it just seems kind of silly.
And it's really weird. Like, I don't know why when I watched this video, I was like, Destiny looks kind of cute in this video, attractive. That's what I'm like, I don't know. It's like, it's so funny when you talk about looks and attractiveness and stuff, because he stereotypically wouldn't be like, let's say, the most attractive whatever, but it's like because he's so smart and like, I don't know.
50 years, there hasn't been a mandatory draft.
I don't know why I felt like I had to say that.
It just hasn't happened.
I was like, oh, he looked kind of cute today. Maybe it's the lighting. Maybe he got a tan. I don't know. And he's down here. He's down here in South Florida, too.
So, so why is it a big deal, I guess, about the selective service? But there's not going to be another technology point.
Not like
she's going to complain afterwards that she got ambushed in this interview.
Yes, and I said the same thing. After this, you're going to say this was bad faith, that it was a hit piece.
I don't know what all women want.
So then why are you saying things that are generalized all women?
I'm saying, no, okay. Because I'm looking at the policies that have been pushed. I'm saying the
she's going to complain afterwards that she got ambushed in this interview 1,000,000%, by the way.
These are not.
Yeah. All right, anyway. That was it. Yeah, the stream was a lot longer than I thought it was, but hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully somebody watches it to the end. Yeah, hopefully somebody watches it to the end. But yeah, this is my first stream using OBS, and oh god, it's 4:30 in the morning here. I need to go to bed, but I guess I'm going to just like I'm gonna try and create some timestamps for this thing, so people can watch. But anyway, please give me a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think, and I'll catch up with y'all in the next one. Peace.